Welcome to the fantasy audiobook. Marvel. Signing in Kai Daddy at the beginning. Chapter 1. Kai Huang. Kai Daddy, take me to the king. Kai Huang will always be a god. With the last attack clicked, the sound of the opponent's base exploding also rang in his ears. Wang Kai once again won a qualifying match with his hero's desperate comeback. Another boring massacre. A smile appeared on the corner of the mouth. Reject everyone's friend requests. Wang Kai glanced at the time and put down his phone. It was already 2 o'clock in the morning. If I don't sleep, I really won't be able to get up tomorrow. I feel dizzy. What happened? The coldness under my body is definitely not the temperature that my own quilt should be. It just feels like lying on the street. I struggled to open my eyes. What you see is a night sky. The moonlight shines quietly on my body. The noisy sound of fighting came to my ears. Before Wang Kai could react, a strange voice appeared in my mind. Ding, congratulations to the host for stopping at the first sign in location. Bullseye killed Erica on the rooftop for more than 1 minute. The sign-in was successful and the King sign-in system was successfully activated. The reward is 100 sign-in points. Ding, warm reminder. 100 check-in points can be used for lottery draws on the system lottery wheel. Ding, the next sign-in location is the Jinbin building office. If you stay for more than 3 minutes, you will be deemed to have signed in successfully. System. Bullseye, Erica, Kingpin. Isn't this a character from the Marvel movie Daredevil? Have I traveled through time? Wang Kai shuddered and woke up instantly. I just feel that my whole body is weak. My neck hurts when I touch it. Under the moonlight, I suddenly discovered that there was a pool of blood in my hand. The horror on his face has not receded yet. A strange memory melted into my mind. In an instant, Wang Kai knew everything. His soul is broken. It's exactly the same as those sand sculpture time travel novels of Red. They all traveled to a passerby with the same name who had just died. Wang Kai, an 18-year-old Chinese American, has a good appearance. He is one of those handsome guys who can be given 2 green onions by the girl at the checkout when buying food in China. My parents are healthy, my sister is beautiful, not to mention overwhelming the country and the city. She is also a little beauty who can attract the attention of countless men on the road. It can be said that the family is happy. But everything changed dramatically 3 days ago. My parents took my sister on a driving trip, but unexpectedly bumped into the American scenery, gang fight. The 2 elders died on the spot and the whereabouts of the younger sister are unknown. Only Wang Kai, who was working part-time outside, escaped. The NYPD has nothing to do against the rampant gangs in New York. After Wang Kai buried his 2 elders, he tried his best but only found Daredevil, who was seeking justice at night, for help. As a result, before he could tell Daredevil about his sister, suddenly Bullseye flew out of the playing cards and tore out his throat. He fell to the ground unwillingly and died of excessive blood loss. Only then did another Wang Kai soul come through. Since I have taken over your body, your business is my business. I will help you find your sister. Make up your mind silently. Looking at Kingpin's subordinate Bullseye, who is still playing tricks on Daredevil. This is the Marvel world, full of dangers. But it is also full of opportunities. Even if his sister dies, Wang Kai can think of several ways to resurrect her. The only important point is, you must be strong enough to ignore any obstacles. System, conduct a lottery. Wang Kai shouted in his heart. He has a system, a King sign-in system. You can become stronger by signing in. Are you still afraid that you won't be able to realize your wishes? Ding, 100 points can be used for a lottery. Does the host want to confirm the lottery? The unfamiliar voice of the system sounded in my mind, just like the indispensable gold finger in time travel novels. I am sure. Ding, it consumes 100 check-in points, and the lottery is in progress. Ding, congratulations to the host for obtaining the hero template, Destruction Blade, Father Kai. The host can already use all of Kai Daddy's skills. Kai Daddy, you are the father of all villains. Soul of Shira. When attacking only one target each time, it will cause 50% more damage. Whirling Blade. Throws the blade in the specified direction, cooling time is 10 seconds. Extreme Blade Storm. Launches 2 slashes in the specified direction, and then the next slash will cause more damage. After leaving combat, health will be restored every second and movement speed will increase. Cooldown time 6 seconds. Immortal demonic body. Summons a demonic armor to possess, causing impact damage to the surroundings after a 1-second delay. At the same time, it strengthens attack power, movement speed, and damage block. The cooldown time is 60 seconds and the duration is 8 seconds. A lot of information is synchronized in my mind instantly. Wong Kai immediately became extremely pleasantly surprised. He actually drew his natal hero for the first time. This is not Kai, this is Dad Kai. You only need one knife in seconds. The passive of Extreme Blade Storm takes effect immediately. Wong Kainong could clearly feel that his injury was gradually recovering. My physical strength soon became abundant. I was finally able to change from lying down to standing half kneeling. The eyes looking at Bullseye became more and more gloomy. Like a hungry wolf that chooses people to devour. Bullseye, who was fighting Daredevil, suddenly felt a chill in his heart. Looking to the side from the corner of his eye, I only see the one who is already dead. The Asian man with blood all over the ground stood up. Half of the body was stained with blood. His face became extremely ferocious. His eyes are staring at him. That was a look he liked very much. Every time you torture someone before killing them. I like the resentful look in the other person's eyes the most. Quack, can you still stand up and look back? Just let me give you another ride. Bullseye smiled excitedly at Wong Kai. Immediately took out 2 playing cards from his waist again. Daredevil was extremely angry after hearing this. Run, he failed to save Erica. At least save this miserable man. The 2 sticks were broken into 2 pieces and the hands flew towards the bull's eye. Want to stop him from throwing those infallible projectiles. But Bullseye gave no chance at all. He swung his hands together, and the playing cards rotated rapidly, drawing 2 beautiful arcs around Daredevil and heading straight for Wong Kai's throat. Die, ha ha ha. Bullseye's crazy and evil smile came into Wong Kai's eyes. But it suddenly stopped in the next second. Bang bang. Wong Kai stretched out his arms and put them under his neck. The sharp blue arm blade suddenly appeared. It is very easy to tear 2 playing cards apart. Wong Kai's whole body exudes blue light mist. The originally short black hair gradually grew longer. It turns blue in just one breath. Then stream after stream of sky blue light circulated on the body. It condenses into a sharp blue sword in the hand. Immortal demonic body. Wong Kai roared in his mouth, then started running wildly. The magic blade in his hand made a sizzling sound as it rubbed against the rooftop under his feet. It actually produced blue sparks. Like a cry for life. Head straight for the bullseye. The blue light is instantly more powerful. With a loud bang, the boy rushed out of the blue light mist. Covered in frightening blue majestic magic armor. The speed is several times faster than before. But Bullseye had no time to reflect. Then he was slashed diagonally in half by the demon blade from shoulder to waist. The magic blade was not stained with any blood. Bullseye has bulging eyes. Almost the whole eyeball will pop out of the socket. Looking at Wong Kai in shock, he wanted to say something. But his body no longer had the strength to speak. Half of the body gradually slipped to the side. It landed on the rooftop with a thumping sound. Wong Kai kicked his lower body in the crotch. Kicked half of Bullseye's body dozens of meters away. Then he slashed his head with a knife again. You, who are you? What happened? Daredevil can clearly see Bullseye's tragic situation. The line sonar image in my mind is very obvious. Bullseye is already dead and can't die anymore. Wong Kai was like a black hole in his mind. Absorbs all sound wave reflections. Daredevil couldn't even hear the other person's heartbeat. I just feel like this person is extremely cold-blooded now. Indifference. Deep into the bones. Ding. Congratulations to the host for killing the villain Bullseye and getting 100 check-in points. The voice of the system sounded in my mind. Wong Kai looked at Daredevil coldly. The magic blade in my hand seems to be thirsting for blood. Desire to destroy the other person's soul. System, if I kill the superhero Daredevil, can I get a check-in point? Wong Kai asked coldly in his heart. No, you can get check-in points by killing supervillains, but you won't be punished by crushing superheroes who block your way forward. Is that so? 8 seconds passed quickly, and the magic armor gradually disappeared. It turns into a blue stream of light and blends into the body. Wang Kai breathed a long sigh of relief. I just feel like my heart is beating again. A little more enthusiasm and a little less indifference. There is more than one special daredevil in the world. I received a gift of special power when I was about to die. Without much explanation, the most important thing now is to find the whereabouts of my sister. And complete the next check-in. And it just so happens that these two tasks can be completed at the same time. I'm going to the Kingpin building to look for that fat man. Roshan. He is the underground emperor of the United States and the leader of the gang. He must know what happened that day. Where did my sister go? He took out a photo from his pocket. The moonlight reflected two smiling faces. One of them is Wang Kai. The other is his sister Luna. Touch the photo gently, hiding my thoughts deep in my heart. Then he turned his attention to the dead body of Erica. Wang Kai whispered, I'll wait for you in front of the Jinbin building to say your final farewell to her. A few of them ducked away from the rooftop. The lonely daredevil is left feeling sad. He picked up Erica's body and walked silently into the darkness. After an hour, Wang Kai stood on the street outside the brightly lit Jinji building. Looking up at this magnificent building with at least 80 floors, I sneered in my heart. Tonight he not only wants to kill Kingpin. We also want to blow up this holy place of gangsters. In addition to Dad Kai's hero template, the confidence. Naturally, there is another trump card. After leaving Daredevil, Wang Kai quickly conducted a second lottery. As a result, I got the bomb monster Cat Shen Mengxi's 3-skill comprehensive hit. X-type hybrid bomb. It's almost the same as described in the game. It can also be used with stored energy. The longer the charging time is, the farther the throw will be. And can store up to 2 pieces. A sound of footsteps came from the shadows. Daredevil, dressed in a red suit and with double sticks on his legs, slowly appeared. The two of them didn't say much. Walk straight towards the Kingpin building. Will you kill Fist, Kingpin? Daredevil asked in a deep voice as he walked. His value is to never kill anyone. Besides, killing Kingpin, the underground emperor. The gangs in New York that are not controlled by anyone will only become more rampant. Returning him to the legal department is the best option. Wang Kai stopped immediately, looking at Daredevil with an indifferent expression. Are you teaching me how to do things? Take care of yourself, I don't need this kind of moral satisfaction. If you dare to hinder me, I'll kill you too. The blue magic blade suddenly appeared in his hand. Directly against Daredevil's chest. Wang Kai's verbal threats were not joking. Before relatives are found, he will only move forward according to his own ideas. Glancing at Daredevil again, with the passive speed boost of Extreme Blade Storm, he ran towards the Jinbin building. Daredevil could only remain silent about this. He is just a blind man with a somewhat strong sixth sense. There is nothing that can be done about a careless person like Wang Kai. Smash the glass door of the Jinbin building with one knife. Wang Kai calmly walked into the lair of the underground emperor of the American gang. Daredevil followed silently behind him. The spacious hall is as bright as day. But there was no one inside. Listen with your ears to see if Jinbin has an ambush. Daredevil had no choice but to calm down and listen carefully. After a moment he shook his head. Kingpin should be waiting for me to understand in his office, so he would not resort to this method. That's good. The two of them took the elevator all the way up. There was no obstacle in meeting the bald Jinpin, who was only wearing a white vest. The floor-to-ceiling windows behind it show New York at night. The iconic white suit with cane beside it. He clenched his casserole-sized fists and looked at Daredevil with a sinister smile on his face. Ding, it is detected that the host has arrived at the Jinbin building office where the sign-in is. The sign-in time is 3 minutes. If the stay time is less than 3 minutes, the sign-in will be considered a failure. The countdown to check-in is 2 minutes and 59 seconds. The voice of the system sounded in my mind. Wang Kai's eyes were as sharp as a mountain of flesh. In fact, almost all of them are muscles. The magic blade in my hand is held tighter and tighter. You actually called for help. But unfortunately, no one came to help. Kingpin laughed. He is very confident in his own strength. You're right, it's useless for anyone to come. Wang Kai's cold words came out. Before Daredevil could come forward and bow his head to Kingpin. Directly activate the immortal demon body and rush towards Kingpin. Blue light appears on the body. The magic armor seems to have life covering the entire body in 1 second. Kingpin was immediately horrified. What is this? He immediately grabbed the solid wood desk in front of him with both hands. Lift it up and throw it towards Wong Kai. In an instant, paper was flying all over the sky. Just hear a loud bang. The arrival of the magic armor triggered a blue shock wave. The solid wood desk was shattered and scattered in all directions. The young man's face was covered by magic armor. No indifferent expression can be seen. Only a pair of shining blue eyes were seen. Phew. The sound of a sharp knife penetrating flesh sounded. Wong Kai cut off Jin Bin's right arm with one knife. Turn it into Yang Guo. Then rotate the body and drive the calves with all your strength. There was a loud bang. Then he kicked Kingpin, who was a daredevil stronger than Wong Kai, away. Another bang. The Kingpin stopped when he hit a wall. I don't know how many bones were broken all over my body. The pain that penetrated his heart made Kingpin scream in agony. Ah, fake squid, someone is coming. In an instant, countless men in black suits and leather shoes walked out of the cubicle. They all pointed their Glocks at Wong Kai. Kill them. Kingpin gritted his teeth, covered his broken arm and roared. Bang bang bang. Suddenly there was loud gunfire in the office. Countless bullets flew out of the barrel of the gun. It shot towards the two of them like a gust of wind. Upon seeing this, Daredevil immediately began to move around to avoid. A perfect demonstration of what it means to be a professional gymnastics prince. But Wong Kai never dodges. A tinkling sound suddenly rang in my ears. The duration of the immortal demonic body is still 6s. Faced with these light fire attacks, for the immortal demonic body, it is completely like scraping. Court death. The magic blade drew dazzling blue sparks under its feet. Wong Kai was like an arrow leaving the string. Before he could see his figure clearly, he suddenly came to a man in black. The magic blade shone with cold blue light and was held in Wong Kai's hand and slashed with a knife. Phew. Blood splashed for several meters in an instant, rushing up to the ceiling like a fountain. Dye the white ceiling with blood. The other men in black suddenly seemed to have seen a ghost. Pupils contracted and heart beat rapidly. A cold air rose from the tailbone to the back of the head. Pull the trigger faster. The bullets bounced off the magic armor. Wong Kai's feet used strength again to run towards the next victim. And this didn't even take a second. Kill one person in 10 steps. The office is like a bloody hell. Scarlet blood covered the floor. One after another, mutilated corpses fell. Blood gradually dripped on the ceiling. It just makes people feel extremely terrible and terrifying. Devil. He is the devil. Run for your life. Jin Bin's men were frightened for a moment. They fled the office one after another. Upon seeing this, Wong Kai immediately waved the magic blade in his hand. Swirling blade. The blue rotating blade flew out from the magic blade. 2 more people were beheaded in a flash of lightning. Kingpin's men became even more frightened when they saw this. Like panicked rabbits fleeing the office. When Wong Kai saw this, he did not pursue him again. Because the duration of the immortal demon body has expired. The magic armor disappears, revealing Wong Kai's cold face. Even the magic blade in his hand became smaller. Wong Kai stepped in front of Jin Bin with blood on his feet. He took out a photo of his sister and said coldly, "Have you seen this girl?" Kingpin had a fierce look on his face and glanced at him with gritted teeth. His eyes suddenly changed, but he laughed viciously. "I've seen it. So that's it. You are the brother of this Asian girl. No wonder they look so similar. Where is she? Tell me quickly." Wong Kai's words immediately became urgent. As the underground emperor of the United States and the leader of the gang, Kingpin indeed knew some inside stories. Quack, quack, do you think I will tell you now? It's been 3 days and you'll never be able to find her for more than 72 hours. She might be sold to an Arab man in his 70s, or she might be sold to a pervert in Europe. After enough fun, she might even be turned into a specimen. They even sold it a second time, but it was her organs that were sold. Ga ga ga. Jin Bing laughed wildly. What is revealed in the eyes is the absolute madness after the instant failure. I won't feel better. Don't even think about it. Phew. Blood floated half a meter high. Wong Kai cut off Jin Bin's arm again. His face was already as cold as it could get any colder. The anger in his eyes is about to burst out and burn everything. The demon blade pressed against Jinji's eyes and roared. Give you another chance. Tell me, where is she? Ha ha ha, cough. Kingpin just kept laughing in the face of severe pain and threats. He coughed up blood from his throat and showed no intention of stopping. Your expression really makes me happy. The pain you suffer while alive is definitely greater than when you die. Kingpin looked up suddenly, taking the initiative to let the magic blade penetrate his head. The speed was so fast that even Wang Kai had no time to react. A ferocious expression and a mocking smile. This was the final answer Jin Bin left for Wang Kai. Did he lose this battle? Hateful. Wang Kai slashed his knife and brought out many yellow and white things. My cold heart did not feel any discomfort. I just regret that Kingpin was so decisive. It would be great if Tai Zhenren's resurrection skill was activated. Between countless lives and deaths. Not afraid of gold does not tell the truth. Ding, congratulations to the host for killing the villain Jin Bin and getting 100 check-in points. Ding, congratulations to the host for signing in at the Jinbin building. The sign-in time exceeded 3 minutes and the sign-in task was successfully completed. Ding, the reward is 300 check-in points. Ding, the next sign-in location is the Osborne Group Laboratory, the birthplace of the Green Goblin. If you stay for more than 5 minutes, you will be deemed to have signed in successfully. If you get 400 check-in points, you can draw 4 times. But Wang Kai couldn't be happy no matter what. Jin Bin would rather die than reveal the whereabouts of his sister. Top-down query planning fails. Now we have to start from the bottom up. Start looking for clues from the small gangs at the grassroots level. You could have become a superhero. Why did you use such extreme methods? Daredevil came from the side and said regretfully. In his opinion, it is a pity that super abilities like Wang Kai are not used to punish evil and promote good. Don't get me wrong, I'm super, but I'm not a hero. Say a Deadpool quote. Wang Kai left the bloody hell-like office with his feet covered in blood. Not even looking at Daredevil. In the Marvel world, the Virgin never ends well. What's more, he still has things to shoulder. Brooklyn, Manhattan, Queens. Gangs are the most rampant in these 3 places. Wang Kai wants to start searching block by block. Daredevil can only perceive, sighing and leaving helplessly. Just as he expected, he did almost nothing before Wang Kai took care of everything. Outside the Kingpin building, the two stood side by side. Daredevil hesitated and asked, "What should I call you? I don't know your name yet." K. Also, if you want to report me to the NYPD, do whatever you want, Lawyer Matt. Wang Kai is still very indifferent. Stretch out your hands and silently recite the comprehensive hit. A cat-shaped bomb with ears and padded feet slowly emerged in his hand. It was the Cat X hybrid bomb. Weigh it in your hands. He turned around and left the door of Jinbin building. Daredevil could only give up his thoughts. Perceiving the cat doll that suddenly appeared in Wang Kai's hand, he felt that it should be a very dangerous thing. After the two of them were tens of meters away from the Kingpin building. After Wang Kai charged up, he suddenly threw an EX-type hybrid bomb. Very accurately thrown into the lobby on the first floor. Then there was only an earth-shattering roar. The cat bomb explodes instantly. The strong shock wave shattered the glass within a radius of 200 meters. The blazing red flames rose slowly. A fiery red cat head can be faintly seen. Wang Kai looked at all this with no expression on his face. The bomb in my hand continues to accumulate power. Turn around and throw away violently backward. The second roar sounded again. Wang Kai turned his back to the explosion and left slowly and calmly. It was already 3 o'clock in the morning when I returned home to Brooklyn. After changing all the blood-stained clothes, Wang Kai couldn't sleep. I had to get up and continue the lottery. System, conduct a lottery. 4 draws in a row. Ding, it consumes 400 check-in points, and the lottery is in progress. Ding, congratulations to the host for acquiring the skill, secret skill, stealth. Ding, congratulations to the host for getting the equipment, cloth armor. Ding, congratulations to the host for obtaining consumables, small medicine bottles 3. Ding, congratulations to the host for obtaining special items and skill enhancement points. Secret skill stealth. Derived from the 4th skill of Shadow Blade Lanolin King, it can enter the invisible state after a 1.5 second delay, lasts for 30s, and has a cooldown of 15s. It is a skill that can be infinitely invisible. Wong Kai gave it a try at that time. The result is that you scare yourself. I have to say that it was quite scary to look in the mirror after becoming invisible and see nothing. In addition, using it again before the duration is over will not interrupt the invisibility effect, allowing you to achieve unlimited invisibility. As for the cloth armor, as soon as I drew it, it transformed directly from the palm of my hand. The system did not prompt the appearance of a space backpack or anything. Wong Kai couldn't penetrate it no matter how hard he stabbed it with various kitchen knives. You know he now has Kai's hero template. His physical fitness is already 2 or 3 times that of ordinary people. This should serve as body armor. Wear the cloth armor like a vest directly on your body. This can provide a certain protective effect while his immortal demonic body cools down. As the name suggests, the small medicine bottle is used to restore health. It has a good effect when injured. Even without injury, it can restore physical strength and spirit after use, making people feel energetic. Skill strengthening points. Simple and clear for upgrading skills. Wong Kai directly added the immortal demon body. Ding! Congratulations to the host for upgrading the skill immortal demonic body, which increases all attributes by 30%, has a cooldown time of 50 seconds, and a duration of 11 seconds. This is different from the game. Wong Kai thought to himself. Not only does the damage and movement speed increase. After the upgrade, the cooldown time is also reduced by 10 seconds. Duration increased by 3 seconds. This is much more generous than being stingy in the game. The discount card in his backpack has been cleared 4 or 5 times. I haven't seen Kai Daddy strengthened even once. Thinking of this, Wong Kai suddenly asked in his mind, "System, what is the maximum level that a single skill can be upgraded to?" There is no limit to the skill level. The host can choose to strengthen the skills it needs. The voice of the system sounded in my mind. Wong Kai was also relieved. It's not just a level 3 restriction. Otherwise, it would be a bit of a headache to encounter more powerful Marvel villains in the future. It seems that there are level restrictions in the game. But not in reality. What if the immortal demon body is upgraded to level 100? How powerful that would be. Concentrate and reach the top. It's not impossible to cut off the moon with one knife. With such enjoyment, Wong Kai gradually fell into sleep. The next day, the New York news focused on the news of the Kingpin building fire. The whole building was burned down. Kingpin Wilson Fisk was reduced to ashes. This news spread like a magnitude 12 earthquake in the underground world. When people were shocked by the mysterious death of their leader, more attention is paid to how to earn more profits in the future. At one time, there were hundreds of undercurrents of gangs, big and small. One after another began plans to seize territory. But, when night falls again, the whole New York gangster disaster begins. Wong Kai held a blue magic blade and broke into gang strongholds one after another. Find clues about your sister Luna and clean up these scum at the same time. Take out the photo of Luna in your arms. Ask everyone who has seen it. What I got was all kinds of dirty words. Then the magic armor came. The cold magic blade slashed across the necks of gang members trying to escape one after another. People shouted in horror at the Blue Devil and the sound suddenly stopped. In a trance, the world and my eyes began to spin constantly. When I finally stopped, I saw a very familiar body. Then consciousness entered darkness. Let me ask one last time, have you seen this girl? The magic blade was pressed against the chest of a gang member. The duration of the immortal demonic body has disappeared. And the gang members in this small gathering spot have been killed by Wong Kai until only one person is left. There are stumps holding pistols everywhere around you. A face of horror. There is blood everywhere, and the orange bullet casings floating in the blood. The scene was like the most horrific and brutal hell imaginable. Facing such a scene, the gang members were completely frightened, their whole bodies were shaking and their pants were wet, and their mouths were trembling and speechless. Seeing this, Wong Kai had no choice but to send him to see God to repent. Then go to the next gang gathering point. Half an hour later, Wong Kai still asked about the last surviving gang member, a thin gang member. Do you know this girl? The man took one look at the photo, shook his head first, and then nodded sharply. Although my whole body is still shaking and my teeth are chattering. But his strong desire to survive still made him tremble and say, no. I don't know him, but I know, there may be someone who knows him somewhere. There is a place dedicated to abducting women. Okay, take me there. 20 minutes later, the thin man drove Wong Kai to a place near the water. There are containers everywhere here. It is the terminal where the daily cargo volume is extremely large. This is the territory of one of the 5 major gangster families in New York. They will sell women to anywhere in the world through shipping containers. The thin man just finished speaking. Wong Kai's face instantly darkened. Take me to the gang leader here. The thin man naturally obeyed. The two came to the gate of a very large warehouse. The strong black man guarding the gate took out a submachine gun from behind and pointed it at them without saying a word. Who? The thin man immediately raised his hands. Don't shoot. Fierce Scar, I know you. I have good business and I want to talk to Boss Crow. Look, I've brought all the customers. The strong black man had a ferocious expression. I took a second look at Wong Kai, probably feeling that such a thin guy was not a threat, so I put down my gun and turned my head to signal to go in. After entering the warehouse, bypassed the mountains of wooden boxes. The two soon found a dozen gang members who were dividing the loot in the center of the warehouse. Boss Crow, the thin man shouted to the man with the star and moon tattoo on his face. The latter immediately turned back. He glanced at it and continued to concentrate on dividing the money. Who are you? What are you doing here? Before the guide could answer, the blue magic blade instantly appeared in his hand. One knife stabbed him to the core. Thank you, this is my kindness to you. Kick the intact body towards the gangsters. The immortal demonic body activates immediately. What the hell? What is this? The body was slapped in front of them. The sudden change naturally alarmed these scumbags. No one has time to care about the dead guy. Everyone immediately took out their weapons. Almost subconsciously, he fired crazily at Wong Kai. Da 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 da. Several submachine guns sprayed out furious tongues of fire. Dozens of bullets were poured out in an instant, forming a dense rain of death. But the rain of bullets that can pulverize flesh and blood into sieves. But he couldn't leave even a single mark on the magic armor. Wong Kai is very fast. In the blink of an eye, he arrived in front of a gang member. The opponent's eyes were wide open as if he couldn't believe why the weapon in his hand couldn't do anything. And Wong Kai lifted the magic blade in his hand. It passes through the opponent's body easily. Even the submachine gun in his hand was cut into 2 pieces. And this is just a microcosm. For a few breaths, Wong Kai's figure turned past more than a dozen gangsters like a ghost. Everyone was as motionless as if they were under an immobilizing spell. Until the sound of gunfire disappears, Wong Kai slashed open the submachine gun of Crow, the last survivor, with one knife. A line of blood slowly appeared on everyone's body. Then the body fell into 2 pieces and fell to the ground. Devil, Crow looked at Wong Kai's ferocious mask with trembling eyes. Especially the pair of eye sockets filled with blue light. It's as if it's heart-wrenching. Leaves people with nothing but fear. Swirling blade. Throw a throwing knife to kill other gang members who come from outside to check the situation. Wong Kai then wiped his face. The mask turned into blue starlight and suddenly disappeared. Take out the photo of your sister from your arms. Do you know me? This is my sister. She disappeared during the gang fight 4 days ago. Did you kidnap her? Faced with Wong Kai's murderous inquiry, Crow was so scared that he almost cried. His feet softened and he fell to the ground. Where did this murderous demon king come from? I glanced at the photo tremblingly. It feels like I've seen it somewhere before. To save his life, he immediately said in fear, I've seen him, but he was definitely not kidnapped by us. A beautiful girl like your sister can be sold for a good price. According to industry regulations, we are not qualified to contact her. Wong Kai suddenly frowned. His expression is also colder. What a good price. Tell me who kidnapped my sister, and I can let you live. Crow suddenly felt happy and said hurriedly, It's Lucchese. Only the Lucchese family is qualified to kidnap and sell high-end goods. Their headquarters is at 99 Green Street. Very well, thank you for your honesty. As soon as Wong Kai finished speaking, Crow also breathed a sigh of relief. In the blink of an eye, a blue sword light suddenly struck. With a pop sound, the sharp blade penetrated the flesh and passed quickly. Crow was beheaded with a knife. I let you live, but the people you harmed are not willing to let you go. After getting the next clue, Wong Kai turned around and left. As for the dead bodies here, after dawn, the NYPD came out to clean the floor. The headquarters of the Lucchese family is different from Kingpin's hometown. It is located outside New York. It is a luxurious mansion with a large area. There are many guards inside, and they have all been professionally trained. You definitely won't get much advantage by forcing your way in. His immortal demonic body has a 40-second idle period. Facing the intensive firepower of countless guards will definitely suffer. The secret skill concealment comes in handy at this time. Wong Kai disappeared. He jumped over the iron gate and the guard at the door very easily, and walked towards the Lucchese family headquarters. The door on the first floor is open. When Wong Kai entered, he was shocked by the luxurious decoration inside. The ancient and solemn giant oil paintings, gorgeous European solid wood furniture, smooth marble floors, and huge and exquisite crystal chandeliers all reveal how dirty means were used to obtain wealth. The marble reflects dazzling light under the crystal chandelier. But it only made Wong Kai feel extremely disgusted. I was thinking about how to find the owner of the family here. But I heard the footsteps of several guards suddenly coming from far away. We finally caught this guy Frank Custer. He killed the nephew of the family leader and dozens of other people in the Lucchese family. Tonight will definitely be an unforgettable torture show. That's right, let's send these torture instruments over quickly. I can't wait to see his painful expression. The footsteps became more rapid. When Wong Kai saw this, he immediately followed. Frank Custer, also known as the Punisher, is a superhero not much different from what he encountered. Because his wife and daughter were shot dead by gangsters, and the law failed to help him punish the murderers, he was so sad and angry that he turned into the Punisher and massacred all related gang members alone. The creed he believes in is, if you are guilty, you must die. He was a superhero that Wong Kai liked very much in his previous life. It just so happened that I bumped into him today and naturally I had to save him. Follow the two guards all the way to the basement. The lights here are as bright as day. Uncle Frank was tied to a stone pillar with iron chains. His face was already dripping with blood. The culprit is a thug in a suit and leather shoes, wearing an iron finger tiger stained with blood on his hand. Punch after punch struck Frank in the face. That's enough, let him rest for a while so that he can play more time. A middle-aged man with gray hair, in a suit and leather shoes, holding a thick Cuban cigar in his hand said coldly, it was Claude Lucchese, the head of the Lucchese family. Claude lit his cigarette ashes. He stood up and blew out a puff of smoke at Frank. I won't let you go see your wife and children so soon. The Lucchese family has an excellent medical team, which guarantees that you can live without dying. Puff, puff, suddenly two familiar voices came to my ears. Claude looked back and his eyes widened instantly. The two guards fell to the ground with a thud. The various instruments of torture in his hands were scattered all over the place. An Asian man holds a blue blade with a cold face. Just like the ice in the cold winter, it brings endless chill. The speed is too fast to reflect. All the guards in the basement were eliminated in 2 breaths. Everyone is killed in 1 hit, pierced through the heart by a sharp blade. Faced with such a strange scene, Claude still forced himself to calm down and asked in a low voice, "Who are you?" Wong Kai took out the photo again. The cold man walked slowly to Claude with an indifferent expression. "Do you know this girl? Tell her where she is and I will spare your life." Claude glanced tremblingly. His pupils shrank instantly. He really knows this girl. But I can't say it. Otherwise, the entire Lucchese family will have no place in the United States. The change in Claude's face naturally did not escape Wong Kai's eyes. He immediately stepped forward angrily and grabbed the old guy by the collar and lifted him up. "Say, where is she?" Facing Wong Kai's selective and devouring gaze. Claude, however, resolutely kept silent. When Wong Kai saw this, he slapped him in the face. Snapped. Wong Kai, whose physical fitness is far beyond that of a normal person, directly knocked out all the teeth in Crow's mouth, and a slap mark with blood oozing out was instantly revealed on his face. "Tell me the whereabouts of my sister. Otherwise, your life will be worse than death." Wong Kai was furious. Drag Claude until he falls in front of the torture instrument. "Do you want to try them all? Take Claude's hand." Wong Kai showed a cruel look on his face, and with a bang, he broke off one of Claude's fingers. The latter immediately grabbed his wrist and wailed, his whole body trembling in pain as he looked at the fingers that formed a reverse figure 7 shape. But still refused to say a word. So the second finger also broke quickly. Screams of agony filled the entire basement. But the excellent sound insulation makes the outside unaware. Don't tell me yet. Wong Kai suddenly became even more angry. Pick up a pair of pliers and pull out Claude's nails. But suddenly I heard a weak voice. Don't waste your efforts. If he could speak, he would have spoken when the first finger was broken. Frank's face was bloody. Only one eye can be opened. Seeing Claude wailing and miserable on the ground, he actually laughed. I knew your retribution would come sooner or later. Even if it wasn't me, it would be someone else. Ha ha ha. Wong Kai's face softened slightly. The condensed magic blade in his hand stepped forward and cut off the iron chain. Then he took out a small medicine bottle not much bigger than his thumb from his arms and threw it to Frank. This is a magic potion that can heal any injury. Is there any way you can get this old guy to talk? Frank first glanced at the blue magic blade in Wong Kai's hand in surprise. Then he subconsciously took the small green bottle. After hearing what Wong Kai said, I was stunned for a few seconds. Is this a magician? After taking one look at the small green bottle, he opened the silver bottle cap and drank the potion in one gulp. Immediately there was a warm feeling in my body. The wounds on the face healed quickly. 5 seconds later, Frank wiped away the blood on his face. I found that I felt as if I was not injured. It's amazing. If you want this guy to talk, the only way is to use Veritaserum, but I've already guessed why he doesn't dare to speak. Frank fought in the war. He has also done some unspeakable things for the US government. Rich life experience. In the process of revenge, he learned a lot of dirty information about American politicians. Therefore, it is very easy to guess the truth behind the scenes. Your sister must have been handed over by this guy to those extremely disgusting politicians. Those powerful people are so tight-knit. Offending one of them is equivalent to offending the country, so he didn't dare to say a word. Wong Kai immediately turned around and looked at Claude. The latter's sudden change of expression really betrayed him. Prove that what Frank said is true. It's hard to get the truth serum, and it's too hard to take him away. Do you have any ideas? A magician from the East. It's very simple, find her. Even if the United States is turned upside down, I will still find her. Wong Kai's words were firm and his voice was sonorous and powerful. He won't give up no matter what. Take another look at Claude lying on the ground. The anger in my chest seems to have found an outlet. He stepped forward and stomped on Claude. Countless bones were broken, the sound was extremely miserable. Then he kicked the opponent fiercely in the lower body. Claude's eyes are about to pop out. He was breathing heavily, and even his screams dropped sharply, even gradually becoming thinner and sharper, almost on the verge of death. Hey, your style doesn't match the Chinese people who always treat others peacefully. HMPH. The rabbit bites people when it's anxious. Wong Kai replied angrily. After a few minutes of venting his anger, and Claude dead, Wong Kai and Frank walked out of the basement together. The two people who suddenly appeared from the basement quickly alerted the guards of the house. A burst of chaotic footsteps quickly sounded in the distant corridor. Apparently a lot of people had gathered. The Punisher, who lacks firearms, knows that his combat effectiveness is greatly reduced. So I immediately found a bunker to hide, waiting for the passing soldiers to snatch their weapons. Seeing Wong Kai walking out of the headquarters gate with an indifferent expression, he immediately shouted, "Danger! Hide quickly." As soon as he said those words, he wanted to run out of the bunker and pull Wong Kai back. But suddenly he saw blue light emitting from the other party's body. Like mist rising slowly. I don't know when I had a pair of armor covering my whole body. The blue magic blade in his hand also doubled in size. Bang! A wave of air suddenly appeared when the magic armor was completed, causing a strong wind, blowing up the fallen leaves in the courtyard. Wong Kai counted the time in his mind. The magic blade drew blue sparks at the feet. It makes a sizzling sound. The speed is as fast as an arrow leaving the string. The scenery in my eyes turned into a blur, rushing forward like a galloping horse among the floating leaves in the sky. All guards have no single enemy. Wong Kai was chopped down to the ground one by one without even seeing his face clearly. The Punisher looked at Wong Kai's fighting style and his mouth grew wide. Why does a magician fight like this? He stabs people with a knife. The fireball skills in romantic movies are all lies. In just a moment, the guards were defeated and fled in panic. And 10 seconds have passed. Wong Kai immediately returned and signaled the Punisher to follow him. They must leave the Lucchese family headquarters immediately before the other party can react. Now the 36 strategy is the best. The two of them ran out through the gate. Wong Kai immediately took out the X-hybrid bomb. After 2 seconds of charging, he threw it directly behind him without looking. The cat bomb drew a beautiful arc. He accurately flew into the lobby on the first floor of the Lucchese family headquarters. Then there was a shocking roar. The sky is filled with flames. Then a flame in the shape of a cat's face gradually formed. Wrap the building they just escaped from. Frank's eyes twitched when he saw all this. This cat is too funny. Kai, are you a magician? Why is this fireball technique different from what I thought? Wong Kai's expression was calm, yes and no. I am a user of swords and magic. Also, the one just now was not a fireball, it was just a bomb like TNT. Frank grinned in disbelief. But I didn't ask any more questions. After a few minutes, I found the car I came in. Then the two of them quickly disappeared into the night. As for the Lucchese family's losses, naturally, it's good for you, me, and everyone. It's best if everyone is dead. Half an hour later, Wong Kai stopped the car on the side of the road and took a look at the time. It was still only 3 o'clock in the morning. So he asked the Punisher on the side, no matter what the outcome is, I will avenge my sister. Do you want to go together? I'm happy to accompany you, but first I need to go to my safe house to get some weapons. Tonight, many members of the New York gang were cured of the disease of being born in the wrong child. If the death of the underground emperor Jinbin was a major earthquake, then the Lucchese family caught fire again and was burned to pieces, which would be a huge shock like a meteorite hitting the earth. All the gangsters figured it out. This was a bloody massacre against them. Those who come are not here for money. No one will be left alive wherever he goes. The state of death is also extremely miserable. For a time, the entire gang in New York was in panic. No one wants their body and head to be separated next. Some people even sought shelter from the police in fear. Or voluntarily admit the crime. I just hope I can hide in the police station for a while. Wait until the limelight has passed before hiring a lawyer to file a lawsuit. In addition to making the NYPD very anxious, all this. It also attracted the attention of S.H.I.E.L.D, the most prestigious organization in the Marvel world. S.H.I.E.L.D space carrier, Nick Fury is checking the few surveillance videos in his office. Since the areas where gangs are located are blind spots for surveillance. Therefore, the footage S.H.I.E.L.D obtained is not that much. At this time, Hill agent suddenly came and handed over 2 pieces of information. The photo shown above is of Wong Kai and Frank. It's a good thing they have found out. It is not uncommon for people to awaken their super abilities due to sudden encounters with huge amounts of sorrow and pain, and then seek revenge against all gangsters. As for Frank the Punisher, your old acquaintance. Are we going to send out a special force to arrest him? After hearing what Agent Hill said, Nick Fury immediately denied it. If a few scum die and S.H.I.E.L.D has to deal with it, 10 S.H.I.E.L.Ds won't be able to handle it. Just pay attention. Wait until the scum are almost dead before sending personnel to contact them and find a way to recruit this young man to S.H.I.E.L.D. As long as you have great ability, you will be recruited for murder and arson. This is also a truth that remains unchanged in any world. In addition, we still don't know what kind of super ability this young man has. Let's pay attention to this aspect. Yes, sir. Nick Fury lowered his eyebrows and glanced at Wong Kai's information. He threw it aside and didn't take it to heart at all. Hill is right about one thing. S.H.I.E.L.D has experienced this type of super ability events quite frequently. Whether it's the countless 084 items in the warehouse, Dr. Banner who turns into the Hulk when he's angry, or the skeleton Ghost Rider who claims his power comes from hell and transforms into a flaming skeleton. They all declare that this world is extraordinary. And S.H.I.E.L.D is the wall that isolates ordinary people from this unusual world. It is a shield that protects the normal development of this world. As for the hundreds of gangsters who died, not at all within the scope of S.H.I.E.L.D. Night falls again. Wong Kai and Frank once again came to another gangster family, the Kolobo family. Unlike the Lucchese family, which specializes in human trafficking, this family is mainly engaged in drug sales. The same luxurious house, the same iron fence gate. The only difference from last night was that there were many more guards at the door. Everyone looked nervous, and all automatic firearms in their hands had their safety switches turned on. If there was the slightest disturbance, they might open fire in fear. Who is it? Don't come over. By the lights on the roadside. The guards discovered the menacing Wong Kai and Frank. There was murderous intent in their eyes. Before he could get close, the two Desert Eagles in Frank's hands had already opened fire. Boom boom boom. Desert Eagle, huge amounts of sound fill the night sky. The powerful recoil puts no pressure on the strong Frank. I saw sparks flashing from the muzzles of the two guns. The guards outside the iron gate fell down one by one. A mortal demonic body. Wong Kai directly activated his ultimate move. A majestic and ferocious magic armor covered his body. Like an arrow from the string suddenly rushing towards the iron gate. Then he raised the knife and dropped it. There was a sting and sparks flew. The strong iron door was split open by Wong Kai with a knife. Then, carrying a huge amount of power, they flew into the courtyard. It hit the turf with a few clanging sounds. Wong Kai transformed into an afterimage and entered the headquarters of the Kolobo family. Behind him, Frank admired Wong Kai's terrifying strength and quickly followed in. In the courtyard, the deafening gunshots of the Desert Eagle had long since attracted the attention of more than 30 guards. Everyone stood on the steps in front of the door on the first floor. Holding a variety of weapons in his hands, Frank couldn't help but worry about Wong Kai after seeing it. Submachine guns and rifles are just trivial. M79 grenade launchers, RPG-7 rocket launchers, and even Javelin anti-tank missiles were seen. Kill him. A guard standing at the front immediately shouted angrily. In an instant, countless bullets poured in. 7 or 8 grenade guns fired at the same time. 4 RPG rocket launchers and an anti-tank missile sprayed out scorching flames behind them, leaving white smoke flying behind. Swirling blade. Facing the enemy's well-prepared ambush, Wong Kai was extremely calm and threw out the sharp blade in his hand. The wildly rotating blade drew an arc in the air, continuously hitting the rocket launchers and anti-tank missiles that posed the greatest threat. Just listen to a few roars. Several flames exploded between the guard and Wong Kai. The rocket launchers and anti-tank missiles were directly destroyed. At the same time, my feet kept moving. The whole person rushed straight towards all the guards like a bolt of lightning. There are still 7 seconds left for the immortal demon body. He has to kill all these enemies within 7 seconds. The bullet hitting the magic armor is like scratching an itch. The grenade exploded on the body causing huge amounts of roar. But there is no way he can stop Wong Kai even for a second. Arriving at all the guards in an instant, Wong Kai immediately activated his skills. Extreme Blade Storm. The huge magic blade in his hand slashed twice in succession. A severed limb fell to the ground. With another strike, several guards were cut in half. It only took 2 swords to completely destroy the guards' formation. Victory seems completely destined. The gangster family, the Kolobos, are about to be destroyed. But at this moment, a red light suddenly shone under the wooden floor in front of the door. Breaking through the wooden floor and rising quickly. An earth-shattering explosion sounded instantly. Wong Kai and countless guards were swallowed up by the flames almost at the same time. Everyone and their houses were lifted to the sky by the shock wave. It is indeed the most vicious drug trafficking group. The Kolobo family actually placed more than 10 kilograms of high explosives at the feet of more than 30 guards. Planned to blow up Wong Kai directly. Frank was shocked. This guy still underestimated the enemy despite his great strength. This is an amount that can blow up a tank into parts. It won't just hang up like this. In the light of the sky, things keep falling from the sky. Building debris, or metal fragments of firearms, and, if you are lucky enough, human body remains. You just can't see anything related to Wong Kai. Ha ha ha. If you dare to take action against our Kolobo family, this is what will happen. Wild laughter suddenly sounded from a distance. An excited middle-aged man in a black suit, about 50 years old, walked slowly with a detonator in his hand. Surrounded by 10 fully armed bodyguards, everyone's expression is very relaxed. apparently thinking that the man the entire New York gang feared had been killed by them. As for those who were also killed in the bombing, we can only blame them for their bad luck. Now, you are the only one left. The middle-aged man smiled coldly. After he clapped his hands, a group of gangsters armed with weapons emerged from nowhere. Everyone surrounded Frank from all sides. Just pull the triggers together. The dense rain of bullets was enough to tear Frank into pieces. As an ordinary person, he has no chance of survival. Is that the end? Frank's expression was solemn, and he was preparing to fight to the death. He pulled up a few cushions. Suddenly there was a whistling sound in the night sky. Looking up, an unknown object fell from the sky and flew toward the middle-aged man. The special appearance instantly made Frank's mood perk up. Immediately bend down and roll to avoid the muzzle aiming and the impending impact. Boom! The explosion that occurred instantly caught all the gangsters by surprise. And the flames rise up, looking faintly like a cat head. Send the middle-aged man of the Colombo family and his guards directly to see God. Frank took advantage of the chaos and shot. Precise shooting skills hit one gang guard after another. Everyone fell down in response, fear quickly spread. For a time, the guards were defeated. The situation reversed instantly. Bang! At this time, a dull crash sounded in the courtyard. Amidst the roaring gunshots and blazing fires, no attention was attracted. But it was Wong Kai who fell freely from an altitude of more than 100 meters. I was thrown so hard that all my bones were broken. He had no choice but to become invisible first. The defensive power of the immortal demonic body allowed him to survive the explosion unscathed, but he was only blown up into the sky by the shock wave. However, after the duration of the ultimate move expired, he was almost thrown to paralysis, which perfectly illustrates that with the ultimate move, you are a Kaidai, and without the ultimate move, you are a waste. Fortunately, because I have the hero template of armor. Although his whole body was in pain due to his strong physical condition, he could still move his hands. He immediately took out the remaining small medicine bottles from his arms and drank them all. The injury quickly recovered. The cooldown time of the immortal demonic body is also decreasing by the second. 20 seconds, 15 seconds, 10 seconds, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The cooling time is over. The fearsome magic armor has arrived again. In an instant, blue sword lights were everywhere in the courtyard. Wong Kai turned into the demon with one man and one sword again, and slaughtered all the gangsters in the Krobo family headquarters. After a while, the headquarters of the Klobo family, one of the 5 major New York gang families and mainly engaged in drug trafficking, was razed to the ground in a fire and explosion. The bright firelight illuminated their faces. Frank looked at Wong Kai with a cold face and was amazed. It's all okay, it's really incredible. Want to move on to the next one? Of course, go now. 3 days later, all the headquarters of the 5 major New York gang families were seized, and the entire New York gang force was feared to be killed. From top to bottom, no matter whether it is a big family or a small gang, they have not been spared. There are hundreds of gangs that have been swept away. The number of dead gangsters exceeded 1,000. For a time, countless surviving scum fled here, and the security of the entire New York reached an unprecedented high point. Some people clapped their hands and applauded, thinking that these scum deserved their punishment. The way of heaven is good for reincarnation, and this is what the heaven will spare. These scumbags finally hit the wall. But some people expressed opposition and concern that huge profits cannot solve everything, let alone such indiscriminate killing. We should use more humane methods to eliminate this social phenomenon. The former immediately ridiculed the latter as a fool, wishful thinking and being so naive. The latter angrily said that the former was cold-blooded and not one of God's people, and that everyone should have a chance to be forgiven by God. Suddenly, people with 2 opinions started a war of words on the internet, which was very lively. As for the NYPD, as always, they did nothing. They only announced a gang vendetta and hastily ended the matter. Anyway, it won't be long before the gangsters come back. After all, they can't kill them all. And this, how could Frank and Wong Kai not know this? Brooklyn, Wong Kai's home. There are endless scum to kill, and there are even more gangsters. Wong Kai watched the TV news and said coldly, "That's why we need to keep suppressing them. We can't relax for a moment. If you are guilty, you must die." Frank sneered. The gun in his hand made the sound of loading, and the skull vest on his chest was extremely eye-catching. Do you want to join us tonight? No, the rest are just small fish and shrimps. Leave them to you. I have other things to do. After 3 days of fighting, Wong Kai realized that he could no longer continue his revenge. A group of gangsters blew him up into the sky. Next time he may not be so lucky, and let him wait to cool down. It's time to complete the next check-in task and become stronger. Well, I wish you find your sister soon. Well, I also hope you don't get caught again and don't be rescued by me next time. The two fist bumped and looked at each other, saying nothing, and then left. The Punisher continues his career in fighting criminals. Wong Kai then set off for the check-in location. At the same time, Norman Osborn is hosting guests from the military. General, this is the glider and control flight suit we developed. It can reach a top speed of 483 kilometers per hour. A glider that looked like a manta ray slowly took off under the demonstration of the operator wearing green armor, but several military personnel showed no interest in this aircraft. Mr. Osborn, we are here to see the human enhancement potion. Please tell us where the development progress is. General Slocum, who had white hair and a military uniform, said impatiently. The super soldier project run by his old friend Thunderbolt Ross has a big problem. Now is the time for him to catch up. This human enhancement potion can stimulate human beings' potential abilities and make ordinary people become infinitely powerful. As long as it is successfully produced, he can create super soldiers first and gain greater rights in the military. Norman looked embarrassed at this time. The assistant Dr. Stern on the side had no choice but to answer and said, Sorry General, although we have successfully developed this medicine, it has serious side effects. The mice used in the experiment suddenly became very violent and extremely aggressive after taking the drug. They cannot be used on humans. General Slocum was extremely angry after hearing this. No excuses. Give you 2 weeks. Get it done, or you'll lose everything. The general suddenly became furious and shocked everyone. Then he continued to say angrily, R&D funds, aircraft contracts, and the position of president of the Osborne Group. If you don't get the human enhancement potion, you won't want any of it. Norman was shocked immediately after hearing this. Facing the threat from the military, he knew very well that this was no joke. Losing the first 2 of his hard work, the Osborne Group will go bankrupt. Losing the position of CEO is even more uncomfortable than killing him. I just wanted to ask for a few weeks of grace. But the general had already led his people away angrily. Only Norman Osborn and his assistant Dr. Stern were left. What should we do? Dr. Stern, wearing a white R&D jacket, asked. I know, human experimentation. Norman's eyes showed madness. As long as the human enhancement potion takes effect on yourself, the general naturally has nothing to say. Norman immediately went to the laboratory resolutely. Assistant Dr. Stern still wanted to persuade him. You know the experiment has not been completed yet and it is dangerous to do so. Yes, I know, but losing everything is even more dangerous. Sometimes you just have to rely on yourself. The visitor quickly came to the laboratory. Norman took out a bottle of green potion from the safe and muttered to himself. Humanity has evolved for 40,000 years, but its infinite potential has not yet been fully realized. Give me the catalyst. Immediately load the green human body strengthening agent into the atomizing equipment. Norman took off his shirt and came outside the transparent glass warehouse. Drink the catalyst used to make the medicine enter the blood faster. Then press the button to open the glass warehouse door and enter. I took a look at the spray equipment in the glass warehouse. Norman's eyes were firm and he said to Dr. Stern outside, let's get started. The latter hesitated for a moment. Or press the computer's confirm button. Suddenly, thick green mist visible to the naked eye sprayed out from the soles of the feet and the top of the head. It quickly filled the sealed glass chamber. Norman only felt his heartbeat getting faster and faster. At the same time, muscles began to grow rapidly. My body began to tremble uncontrollably. I feel severe pain all over my body. He rolled his eyes and looked like he was having epilepsy. Oh my God. Dr. Stern looked at Norman in horror. He immediately stopped the experiment and emptied all the remaining thick fog. He opened the glass warehouse door anxiously and shouted, Norman, hold on. Xiao ran forward and wanted to perform cardiopulmonary resuscitation on him. But suddenly Norman's big hand grabbed his neck. "Take everything from me." Norman Osborn's face was ferocious, his mind was filled with overwhelming hatred, and he seemed to be crazy and extremely aggressive. His wrist was so strong that he directly broke Dr. Stern's neck. Then with a push from his big hand, Dr. Stern was thrown more than 10 meters away. It smashed through the wall of the glass warehouse with a bang and fell to the ground with blood on its face. "No one can take everything away from me." Norman Osborn opened his arms and shouted. Just wanted to leave, but suddenly I heard the voices of other people inside the experiment. Finally showed up. The invisible Wong Kai suddenly appeared with his mobile phone. "Take pictures of everything that just happened." At this time, he was looking at Norman with a calm face. "Ding, congratulations to the host for signing in at the Osborne Group Laboratory. The sign-in time exceeded 5 minutes and the sign-in task was successfully completed. Ding, the reward is 500 check-in points. Ding, the next sign-in location is the cave where Iron Man was born. If you stay for more than 5 minutes, you will be deemed to have signed in successfully." The sound of the system sounds at the right time. Wong Kai didn't care at all. Looking at the crazy-looking Norman Osborn, or should I call the Green Goblin, he shook the phone in his hand. "Do you want the video of you killing your colleague?" The Green Goblin looked at Wong Kai, who suddenly appeared and did not answer but took action directly. With his arms spread wide and his feet stretched out, he jumped over from the glass warehouse. With a ferocious face and wide-open eyes, it was as if he wanted to eat Wong Kai alive. Facing the menacing Green Goblin, Wong Kai did not kill him with a knife just for 100 check-in points. Instead, wait until the Green Goblin gets close and then kick him out. Bang! The Green Goblin jumped over and crashed into the glass cabin again at an even faster speed. After rolling several times, it broke the glass on the other side. Suddenly glass shards fell to the ground. The Green Goblin fell from the glass warehouse onto the broken glass. The exposed upper body was immediately covered with cuts. But for the Green Goblin, this is nothing more than painless. After standing up, he looked at Wong Kai with a look of hatred on his face. But at the same time, he became wary. "Who are you? What do you want to do?" Wong Kai walked up to the Green Goblin with an indifferent expression. "K, you can call me Kai. I want to ask Norman Osborn for a little help, but it's not you. It's another personality. Otherwise, I can only use some less friendly methods." After hearing this, the Green Goblin laughed evilly, pointing his finger at Wong Kai while smiling and approaching. "Ga ga ga, you actually want to find that weak guy, what can he do? If you want to find him, defeat me first." Just finished speaking, the Green Goblin took out a piece of glass shard from behind his back. There is still a crazy smile on his face. It's like a dagger stuck straight into Wong Kai's throat. Bang! The glass shattered. Wong Kai used the sharp arm blade on his arm to block the Green Goblin's sneak attack. At the same time, he clenched his right fist and punched out. The whole body's strength pours out like a dam releasing water. Along the arm, he hit the Green Goblin hard on the face. Boom! In an instant, the Green Goblin's face was almost deformed. Several teeth were missing in his mouth. The body spun and flew several meters, then hit the wall of the laboratory and passed out. Looking at the unconscious Green Goblin lying on the ground, Wong Kai took a glass of water from the laboratory. Then sprinkled it directly on Norman's face. Then he kicked a few more times. Norman finally woke up slowly. He rubbed his head and looked around in confusion. After seeing Wong Kai, his expression changed, and he asked in a deep voice, "Hey, it hurts. Who are you? Why do you appear in my laboratory? Where is Stern? It seems you have forgotten a lot of things. Take a look at this." Squatting down, he played the video recorded on his cell phone to Norman. Norman's eyes slowly changed from alert to painful. But maybe it was influenced by the second evil personality. After a moment of sadness, Norman calmed down from the pain and self-blame. Wong Kai put the phone away and asked in a deep voice, "You have the evidence of my murder and defeated the evil me. Do you want money?" Wong Kai shook his head and stood up. He walked to the safe and took out a bottle of human enhancement potion scattered inside. "I have 3 things to ask you for. First, help me find someone. She is my most important person, and she was kidnapped by the powerful people in your country. Second, I know you have the largest tritium element in the world, give it to me. Third, Wong Kai looked at the green vial in his hand with firm eyes. Repair laboratory, I also want to use human enhancement potion. What? Norman Osborne looked at Wong Kai with an expression of disbelief. It's no problem to find someone to help you, and there's no problem in giving you tritium elements, but why do you still use the human enhancement medicine when you know the side effects? Obviously you already have more power than after you unleash your potential. Wong Kai glanced at Norman with cold eyes. Don't ask if you shouldn't. Your son Harry Osborne probably doesn't want to lose his father, and you don't want to lose your son either. Norman was speechless. Wong Kai's threat pointed directly at his most vulnerable place. Murder video and son's safety. Norman had no choice but to surrender. The Osborne group has more than one laboratory. I can take you there to use human enhancement potions now. Good. Wong Kai responded, and the two of them dumped Dr. Stern's body on the spot until someone would find it the next day, and then immediately set off for another laboratory. In Wong Kai's opinion, although body-enhancing drugs have seemingly terrible side effects, but it can be overcome. The most representative example is Norman Osborn's son Harry. In Spider-Man 3, he also used a human enhancement agent to become the second-generation Green Goblin, but his character did not undergo such huge amounts of changes as Norman's. He even blocked a fatal blow for his love rival Spider-Man in the final battle, making him the worst male lead in Marvel movie history. So let's talk about it. Why did Norman become the Green Goblin? Or is it because his evil intentions lead to the emergence of an evil personality? As long as we overcome this evil personality, then the side effect of the human body strengthening potion is quite like leveling up for oneself. The two quickly came to another laboratory. The same configuration is here. There is a transparent glass warehouse in the center, with various instruments on both sides, used to monitor various data of the experimental subjects' bodies. Let's start. Norman immediately handed over a bottle of transparent catalyst. Wong Kai took one look and drank it all in one gulp. At the same time, he handed over the human enhancement potion in his hand. He's not afraid of Norman's tricks. The distance between the two of them is only more than 10 meters. It takes less than a second to send him to get his lunchbox in advance. The glass hatch opened to both sides, and Wong Kai stepped inside, taking off his shirt to reveal his tight muscles. Although he looked thin, the powerful power contained in it was explosive. Norman Osborne clicked a few times on the computer outside the glass warehouse. But within a breath, the familiar green mist began to pour into it. Wong Kai took a deep breath and felt like he had inhaled countless knives. The burning feeling goes from the nose to the lungs. At the same time, as the green mist becomes thicker and thicker, the skin it comes in contact with also feels extremely stinging. Oh my God, what a body this is! Norman looked at the remaining percentage of the mist displayed on the instrument, which was declining rapidly. It quickly dropped from 90% to 55%. The green mist in the glass cabin also became thinner at a speed visible to the naked eye. But Wong Kai only felt a burning itching all over his body. Norman did not appear to be in a state of epilepsy. Go, 2 more bottles. Wong Kai gritted his teeth and shouted. Norman immediately followed the instructions as soon as his heart moved. It would be best for Wong Kai to die suddenly after inhaling too much human body enhancement potion, so that he would not be threatened. Run all the way to retrieve the remaining potion. It doesn't matter whether Wong Kai can bear it or not. Directly pour all the remaining 8 bottles into the glass chamber. The green mist inside suddenly became as thick as green oil paint, and even Wong Kai's figure and voice were drowned in it. The heartbeat rate displayed on the monitoring instrument was astonishingly fast. It has reached 350 times per minute. And it's still rising rapidly. The faster the heartbeat, the faster the heart pumps blood, and the body-enhancing drugs can reach all parts of the body faster, but it is also more dangerous. Haha, 400 times per minute, your body can handle it. Norman looked at the numbers displayed on the instrument and suddenly smiled strangely. Inadvertently, the Green Goblin's personality takes over. Wong Kai's eyes in the glass warehouse were red. I can only feel the deafening and continuous sound of my heartbeat. It's like a sledgehammer hitting my heart constantly. It's like an engine vibrating in your chest. The blood in the whole body seems to be boiling. My body temperature is so high that I can barely make tea. He seemed to hear the blood flowing in his body like a big river. In a trance, Wong Kai heard a voice. It seems to be telling a story about Dad Kai. Brother, can't you give up the magic armor? No, why? If I give up the magic armor, then I can't be a father. If you really want to be a father, I can satisfy you. The sound gradually progresses. There seems to be a charming sound. A very gentlemanly image appeared in his eyes. Just when Wong Kai's eyes widened in shock, an extremely clear voice appears in your ear, as if someone is speaking into your ear. You see, this is what you like. Why are you pretending to be cold? Isn't it good to have a harem? Wong Kai suddenly woke up. When I opened my eyes, I saw that I was still in the thick green fog. And there is one more person in front of me. It's his crazy face, the evil personality that appeared due to the human body strengthening potion. Demon armor, Wong Kai. They both shouted at the same time. My sister is not my biological child. When you see a beautiful woman, you take in another beautiful woman, and fill the harem with a reinforcement company. Don't you want this kind of life? The eyes of the magic armor reveal a look that you know. The words immediately reached the bottom of Wong Kai's heart. He has only dreamed of such a life, and enjoys it every day. I think so, I really want to. But you just made a mistake. Wong Kai sighed and said. The magic armor was stunned for a moment. What is wrong? Where's the follow-up to you treading the horse? Only half of the video was shown. Do you know how to be a human being? Wong Kai looked angry. It seems that I have seen this extremely evil behavior of leaving pictures but not seeds. Instantly activate the immortal demonic body. He raised the big knife in his hand and struck directly at the evil personality. Bang! The evil personality has dull eyes and a body that explodes like a balloon. A sudden roar shook Wong Kai awake again. Open your eyes again. I found that the green mist had almost disappeared. And he was standing there. The immortal demonic body has been activated. He held the huge magic blade tightly in his hand and pointed it directly in front of nothing. This evil personality. Wong Kai shook his head and sighed. He touched the mask with his left hand. The magic armor disappeared directly. At the same time, a very speechless words came to my mind. Ding! Congratulations to the host for killing the evil personality demon armor and getting 100 check-in points. Haha, you can also get check-in points by killing yourself. System, if I keep having evil personalities appear and then eliminate them, can I keep getting check-in points? This time there was no immediate reply as usual. Waited for a few seconds before hearing the system reply. What a shame. The system strictly prohibits cheating, and violators will have their accounts banned. If you can't, you can't. Why are you so angry? Wong Kai shook his head secretly and put down his thoughts on checking in. The magic blade in his hand also turned into blue light and merged into his body. Get out of the glass warehouse. Norman, who looked stunned, stepped forward coldly and handed him a photo of his sister Luna. This is my sister. Her name is Luna. Use all your strength to find her. Otherwise you know the consequences. Norman Osborne's eyes wandered as he took the photo. After hesitating for a moment, he asked, "Are you really okay?" All 9 bottles of human body enhancement potion were absorbed. This is simply an unprecedented feat. Seeing that so many human enhancement potions were not enough to kill Wong Kai. The Green Goblin personality knows he is no match. So the normal scientist personality gained the upper hand again. I became infinitely curious about Wong Kai, who seemed to be fine. You must know that once excessive amounts of human enhancement agents are used in animal experiments, the animal's blood vessels will burst and die. So do you think I'm dead? Wong Kai glanced at Norman. The latter shook his head in embarrassment and didn't know what to say. By now Wong Kai had seen through his mind. I know you want my blood to be used for research, that's absolutely fine. Find my sister. Norman nodded, looked at the photo in his hand and put it away solemnly. After leaving the Osborne Group building, Norman led Wong Kai to his home, where the world's largest tritium element was placed in the safe at his home. On the road, Norman was sensible and didn't ask what tritium was used for. However, he indirectly told Wong Kai about the bankruptcy problem his company was facing, and wanted to seek help from Wong Kai, but was directly rejected. They have nothing to do with me, you'd better do it yourself. Although Wong Kai has sent many scumbags to see God to ask for forgiveness. But he is not a crazy and irrational person. This kind of thing has nothing to do with him. Just let the Green Goblin do it himself. Anyway, after killing the people in the military and the board of directors according to the original plot, all these problems will be eliminated. There was no conversation all the way, and 20 minutes later the two of them arrived at the Gold Coast on 5th Avenue. This is a wealthy area of New York. Norman Osborn's 3-story single-family mansion is here. 1 minute later, Wong Kai saw the file size of a table tennis ball in the safe at Norman's home, with a honeycomb-like dense hexagonal surface and tritium elements shining with pale golden light. It is one of the most expensive elements in the world, mainly used for nuclear fusion to produce hydrogen bombs. I hope I won't need you. Wong Kai looked at the tritium element in his hand and whispered. With the tritium element, he has the upper hand. As long as he obtains Dr. Octopus's equipment, he can create a special super bomb. Artificial sun. Although it is not very powerful based on the effects in the movie. The first small artificial sun only blew up the laboratory on the river bank when unplugged. Then there's the magnetism for all metals. And the most criticized thing is that nothing seems to happen if you throw it into the river. But as long as some improvements are made, Wong Kai believes that this can be his trump card. Thanks, remember to look for my sister. Take the tritium element Wong Kai and leave directly. Norman's face gradually became gloomy. The eyes reflect madness. The Green Goblin personality is online again. He was thinking about how to kill Wong Kai, a guy who was far more powerful than himself. Physically, he is absolutely no match. He was almost hanged before he was injected with the human strengthening agent. So, you can only rely on equipment. Father, is that you? The sudden sound of his son Harry's voice brought Norman back to reality. Harry, a sleepy high school student, walked upstairs. The look on his father's face was very strange. Dad, your face. The bruises from Wong Kai's beating have not yet dissipated, and several of his teeth have been lost. It's just an accidental fall, it's not a big deal. Norman smiled kindly when facing his son. It's just that the way he talks is a little funny. Go to sleep. Oh fine. After sending his son away, Norman returned to the bedroom, looked in the full-length mirror and began to mutter to himself. System, I want to draw a lottery, 6 consecutive draws. It was already very late when he got home, but Wong Kai was completely sleepless. He looked at the tritium element in his hand and immediately drew the lottery again. Ding, it consumes 600 check-in points, and the lottery is in progress. Ding, congratulations to the host for acquiring the skill and sailing through the waves. Ding, congratulations to the host for getting the equipment, the refreshing crystal. Ding, congratulations to the host for obtaining the consumables, vision potion. Ding, congratulations to the host for obtaining consumables, small medicine bottles 3. Ding, congratulations to the host for obtaining a special item, the system backpack. Ding, congratulations to the host for obtaining a special item and skill enhancement point 1. Long sail breaks the waves. It comes from the third skill of Sun Ce in the Sea of Light. He charges with his boat, and his speed gradually increases. During this period, he dominates the body. The charge lasts for 7 seconds and has a cooldown time of 45 seconds. Wong Kai looked at this skill and then looked at the street outside. I still gave up on going out to test how fast the boat can be driven. In case the body is about the same size as a river sailing boat. Then the traces of destruction on the streets will be too obvious. Save yourself trouble. Refreshing crystal. Slowly restores health, looks like a piece of green plastic. Wong Kai felt his body warm as soon as he touched it, so he found a thin rope and tied it up and hung it around his neck. He could clearly feel that his physical strength and energy were slowly recovering, but the effect was much worse than that of the small medicine bottle. Vision potion. A red potion that allows you to observe the surrounding environment from a god's perspective after use. System backpack. The long-awaited Goldfinger Essential Space Storage Backpack finally appears. It's just that it's too small, only 1 cubic meter. System, can the system backpack be upgraded? Absolutely, the host only needs to obtain more precious backpack expansions in the intermediate lottery wheel. Intermediate level, let me tell you why you can't get even a single advanced piece of equipment. Wang Kai continued to ask, thinking in his mind. How can I upgrade to the intermediate lottery wheel? Please continue to complete the check-in tasks and accumulate a certain number of tasks. Wang Kai was a little dissatisfied when the system sounded. What is a certain quantity? Is it 10 or 20? Shaking his head to get rid of some resentment. Continue to invest skill enhancement points in your natal Kai Daddy. System, upgrade the immortal demon body. Ding, congratulations to the host for upgrading the skill immortal demonic body, which increases the original attributes by 60%. The current level is level 3. The cooldown time is 40 seconds and the duration is 14 seconds. It takes 2 more levels to get unlimited duration. Wang Kai looked at the skill introduction of the immortal demon body. After sighing in his heart, he immediately put the valuable tritium element, small medicine bottle, and vision medicine into the system backpack. Very simple to use. Just touch the item and it will disappear. You can take it out again as soon as you think about it. If the volume exceeds, there will be no response. The next check-in location is the cave where Iron Man was born. Playboy, billionaire, philanthropist and future Iron Man Tony Stark has been kidnapped by terrorists in the Middle East for some time. Presumably at this time, spiritual salvation has been completed. Are planning to escape from the clutches of terrorists. And the method is to build a steampunk-style Mark I suit out of a bunch of garbage. Now I have to go there to sign in. Just in time to save Iron Man. It can also make Tonio a favor. Use Jarvis to help you find Luna. Kill 2 birds with 1 stone. The next day, after the sun rises as usual, Wang Kai then set off for Stark Tower to visit Tony's female assistants, Pepper Potts and Miss Pepper Potts. Pepper not only won Tony's trust, taking care of Tony's messy life. She will also be Tony's wife in the future. It's worth meeting each other now to leave a good impression on the other person. We took a taxi all the way to the downstairs of Stark Tower without saying anything. Just walked into the lobby on the first floor invisibly. I saw a haggard-looking little Pepper walking towards the elevator. Wang Kai followed directly, followed all the way to Pepper's office. I met another person by chance. The war machine of the future. Tony's best friend, Colonel James Lord. Rod, there's no news about Tony yet. Little Pepper asked Colonel Rhodes eagerly. The latter told the bad news with a serious face. I'm sorry, not yet, and because it's been almost 2 months, the top military officials have already planned to give up the search. Although I raised objections, they wouldn't listen. So I came to you and Obade today to ask him to put pressure on the military on behalf of Stark Industries so that we can continue to launch a large-scale search for Tony. Little Pepper looked depressed. Although I have no choice but to do this. But at this moment, the two of them suddenly heard an inexplicable sound coming from beside them. Wait a minute, I can help you find Stark. Rhodes looked around. Nothing was found. He immediately stood in front of Little Pepper and put his hands on his waist warily. Who's talking? I. Wang Kai cancelled the secret skill and appeared invisibly. Pepper and Rhodes only saw the sound coming from the direction. A young man with an oriental face wearing blue casual clothes slowly appeared in an invisible state. The face is cold, like ice. His face is neither sad nor happy. She is on the thin side, about 1.8 meters tall. I don't know when I entered the office. Can you find Tony? Little Pepper immediately asked eagerly. But Colonel Rhodes remained vigilant. The Glock in hand has the safety turned on and is ready to shoot. Yes. Just take me to the place where Stark was ambushed. Wang Kai said indifferently. Who are you? Why should we trust you? Colonel Rhodes still looked wary. Wang Kai holds one hand empty. The body emits blue light. Almost in the blink of an eye, a blue magic blade sword condensed in his hand. Then he turned his wrist and held the sword in his backhand. Let go directly in midair. The blue magic blade is free falling and inserted directly into the bottom plate. Just a stabbing sound was heard. The blade of the sword is at least 30 centimeters into the ground. You can see how sharp it is. You can call me Kai. I am a descendant of the Eastern demonic family. Like you, I am also looking for someone. Little Pepper and Rhodes immediately looked at each other. Demonic family. Is it a magician family? I didn't expect that such a thing really existed. He actually transformed out of thin air into a blue sword that didn't look like an ordinary one. It seems possible to give it a try. You said you were also looking for someone. Yes, I'm looking for my sister. Taking out a photo of Luna from his pocket and placing it on the table, Wong Kai briefly explained his sister's situation. Both of them were elites in American society, so they naturally knew that such a thing existed. Ahem, are you so sure it was them? Rhodes asked awkwardly. I'm very sure that those gangsters can't lie. Pepper and Colonel Rhodes were immediately shocked. Gangsters, the disaster of those scum. Cruel enough. But well done. How about I help you find Stark and you help me find Luna? Wong Kai asked. Absolutely okay. Little Pepper immediately agreed. Walk up and pick up the photo and put it away. And immediately arranged for Tony's private jet to fly to the Middle East. Colonel Rhodes went with him. On the plane, curious Rhodes asked, is the Eastern demonic family a family similar to magicians? Wong Kai shook his head coldly. It's not, according to Western terms, more like vampires, werewolves and other creatures with powerful power in their bodies. We call it a demon seed. But if you look deeper, there is no difference between the two. They were all created after the gods descended countless years ago. Colonel Rhodes suddenly opened his mouth. I just feel like my three views are shattered into pieces. He didn't want to take a lesson on the truth about the world. Why do demons and gods sound like aliens? Rhodes asked. It's aliens, Wong Kai said categorically. The Earth is much more than what you see, and it contains many secrets. How are you sure? It's the same as what you saw with your own eyes. Rhodes curled his lips and became even more curious for a moment. This is all information hidden deep in my demonic bloodline, believe it or not. Wong Kai glanced at Rhodes coldly and said nothing. The two of them were silent all the way. It took half a day to reach the sky above where Tony was attacked. There is no downtime here, we go to the nearest military base. Rhodes said to the pilot. But Wong Kai stood up from his seat and, no, just open the hatch and I'll jump in. Rhodes' eyelids suddenly jumped. Seeing Wong Kai's serious look, he didn't stop him. Can you use a parachute? Won't. Then how do you get down? I have my own way, just open the hatch. Rhodes was speechless for a moment. I had to take out a square plastic box. It feels like something like a car lock. This is the locator. Press the first button after finding Tony. I will bring a helicopter to come to the rescue. Wong Kai nodded and accepted it. The pilot slowed down and opened the door. Suddenly a strong wind poured directly into the cabin. It almost blew the two of them down. Wong Kai's heartbeat accelerated when he saw this. The memories in his 2 lifetimes combined have never been so exciting. But after calming down, Yi jumped resolutely. Leave the cabin. Below is the desert. Wong Kai spread his limbs and fell to the ground faster and faster. The strong wind howled by. As soon as you are about to reach the desert surface, activate your skills. Long sail breaks the waves. A triangular boat the size of a van file suddenly appeared at Wong Kai's feet. Then landed with a bang on the sloping sand dunes. The boat slides down the sand without losing speed. There was actually water flowing under the boat. Wong Kai sailed a boat in the desert, speeding towards the distance. The speed of sailing in the desert is unimaginable. Wong Kai knew that time was running out. Immediately take out the vision potion from the system backpack. Just drank half the bottle. Drink the red potion. Wong Kai only felt as if his soul had ascended to heaven. In a trance, I felt like there was an extra spiritual body in my body. Duplication. Duplication rises higher and higher, hanging in the sky like a satellite, able to accurately zoom in and observe every place within the field of view. And duplication and the body observe the same desert from different angles. It brought a very surprising experience. He even saw his own body. And the body is also looking upward. But nothing was found. God's perspective, that's how it is. Whisper the distracting thoughts out of your mind. Wong Kai's duplication began to focus on finding the group of terrorists who kidnapped Tony. In the movie, the group of thieves were hiding in a valley located next to a desert. It was also for this reason that Tony's Mark I did not fall to death after it ran out of flight fuel. Otherwise, there would be no Iron Man in the world. As a humanoid satellite accurate to every grain of sand. It took the spirit duplication about 10 minutes to find the location of the terrorists. And Wong Kai disappeared. I chose the infiltration method and entered the cave to sign in. There are too many terrorists in the valley. And well armed. Once the duration of the immortal demon body ends, he won't get any good results from the cooldown CD. Inside the cave, Tony Stark was sweating profusely as he kept banging on an iron plate. Try to make it into an iron mask. The steel suit is 80% complete. Just give him a little more time. You can escape this hellish place. But at this moment, the voice of the terrorist leader came from outside the door. Dr. Ethan, who saved Tony's life, immediately put down the welding equipment in his hand. Stand with your hands up and your head in your hands. The same goes for Tony. The two of them have long been accustomed to surprise inspections by this group of self-righteous bumpkins. With their walnut file-size brains, there is absolutely no difference between the iron suit and the Jericho missile. Mr. Stark, where are my missiles? The terrorist leader, the little bald Zara, looked at the various parts filled in the cave and asked coldly. It's been almost 2 months and I haven't seen anything. The subordinates understood immediately. The two men stepped forward and grabbed Dr. Ethan's arm and then pressed him on the iron felt. Zara picked up the red-hot iron pliers and kept making gestures on Ethan's face. Dr. Ethan felt the hot iron pliers and immediately shouted, "We are really serious about making Jericho missiles. It's just the lack of high-end equipment that makes it so slow." Tony immediately agreed. Yes, this is not a factory. Without professional machine tools, do you know how difficult it is to make missiles by hand? This is no excuse. Zara shouted angrily. He doesn't care how many difficulties there are, he only wants the Jericho missile to fulfill his dream of conquering the Middle East. You are right, but I need him. A good assistant can greatly slow down the manufacturing cycle. After hearing this, Zara put down the red-hot iron tongs. Then you should do something to protect your assistant. The little bald man smiled cruelly. Take a piece of red-hot coal from the brazier. Open your mouth. It's better for you two to talk less. Tony was immediately extremely nervous. But no matter what he says, Zara just refused to let Dr. Ethan go. It was obvious that they had planned to teach the two dishonest people a long lesson. The terrorists in the cave sneered fiercely. I am so happy to see all this. But at this moment, the iron door of the cave suddenly made a creaking sound. No wind automatic, no touch. It actually closed slowly. Little bald Zara suddenly felt bad. Before he could take out his pistol, I saw the weapons of the 4 men were all disconnected. And blood gushed out from their bodies. It broke into 2 pieces before his eyes. Lying on the ground wailing miserably. What? Zara stepped back in horror. But suddenly I felt like the world was spinning. Something warm was sprayed on my face. Then consciousness sank into eternal darkness. My lord. Dr. Ethan immediately moved away from the dead terrorist. Although it is very dark inside the cave, but we can still see their frightened faces before they died. Tony's eyes widened even more when he saw this. I felt nauseated and immediately vomited it out. Then he touched his head. After discovering that he was still there, he asked in shock, "Is it a human or a ghost? Can you say something?" Dr. Ethan asked with a 3rd degree of worry and fear. "Yes, the terrorists outside will come in soon." And Wong Kai was silent for a moment. Wait until the system sounds. His true form was revealed only after signing in. I'm here to save you, Stark. You close the door and stand here and don't move around. I'll go and kill the terrorists and then come back. Without waiting for Tony and Dr. Ethan to ask, Wong Kai disappeared again, opened the iron door and walked out. Dr. Ethan was stunned for a moment before he came to his senses. Not a ghost. Immediately close the iron door and pick up debris to block the door. After taking a long breath, he looked at Tony's changed face and asked, "Stark, you don't seem happy." Tony immediately said angrily, "Of course. Where did this transparent person come from? I can obviously escape by myself. Quick, let's assemble the suit now. Let this guy who only knows how to sneak attack and scare people see how powerful I am." Wong Kai sighed. A draw is taking place at this time. Terrorist in the cave, especially since all the terrorists in the control room have died. No one found the blood-stained magic blade in the dark cave. Kill all the terrorists quietly and silently with 1 knife. System, I want to draw a lottery, 5 draws in a row. You can assassinate people in the cave, but it's more difficult to deal with the outside. Wong Kai is in urgent need of a skill that can protect himself. Ding, it consumes 600 check-in points, and the lottery is in progress. Ding, congratulations to the host for obtaining the hero template, Metal Storm, Mosey. Ding, congratulations to the host for acquiring the skills and attending the meeting alone. Ding, congratulations to the host for obtaining consumables, small medicine bottles 3. Ding, congratulations to the host for obtaining a special item and skill enhancement point 1. Ding, congratulations to the host for getting a special item, thank you for your patronage. Metal Storm, it's actually a hero with a skin. This is really a huge profit. But what the hell is this thank you for patronizing? Do you have another bottle? Wong Kai's face suddenly darkened, this is absolutely impossible. How could he, a majestic European emperor, win such a thing? System, are you kidding me? Thank you for your patronage. It's a special item. Ding, this system is fair and impartial. If it's playing tricks on you, it's playing tricks on you according to the rules. Quote. You're cruel, change the hero template for me. Ding, the host has changed the hero template and can now use all the skills of Metal Storm, Mosey. The history of Autobots is much longer than you think. Chapter 11, Johnai Non-Attack. After charging, launch the palm particle cannon, the cooling time of each hand is 2 seconds. Peaceful walk. Impact in the designated direction, and the palm particle cannon will be ready immediately, with a cooling time of 10 seconds. Mechanical heavy cannon. Fires a crystal cannon, which is fired forward along the electromagnetic trajectory. After hitting an enemy in its trajectory, the crystal cannon will turn into a magnetic field centered on a sphere. Cooldown time, 7 seconds. Stick to the rules. Instantly form a huge amount of tetrahedral electromagnetic field, causing continuous damage to all objects inside. Cooling time 50 seconds. All skills are almost the same as in the game. There is not much to say except that the non-attack mode of Johnai has been changed from basic attack to cooldown time, making it more convenient and more user-friendly. I remember that Mosey's mechanism giant was 5 meters high. Thinking of this, Wong Kai immediately walked out of the cave. As soon as my heart moved, golden light immediately appeared around my body. When the light disappears, Wong Kai only felt that his perspective was much higher. He is already riding inside the Metal Storm Mecha. Looking down, I saw that my hands had transformed into metal arms. There are also blue crystal arm blades on the arms. The sharp edges flashed with electromagnetic sparks from time to time. And the whole body is extremely cool. The yellow metal mecha with straight lines and angled structures and strong lines. The joints, shoulders, and chest core are inlaid with blue crystals. The overall look is just 4 words, cool and cool. The mecha is very strong, but the body seems to be getting weaker. Wong Kai was confused, but it soon occurred to me why. After changing the hero template, it is equivalent to replacing it with Mosey's physical fitness. Some decline is also normal. After all, Mosey was engaged in scientific research. Naturally, his physical fitness is not as good as Kai's father, who killed demon species and piled up corpses like mountains. Wong Kai appeared driving a 5.12-meter yellow mecha. Almost instantly, it attracted the attention of all the terrorists. They were chattering words that Wong Kai couldn't understand. Showing a very frightened look. Then he pulled the trigger directly. Bang bang bang, boom. Rifles, heavy machine guns, grenade guns and other weapons all emit hot tongues of fire. There was a continuous roar from the muzzle. Countless metal projectiles declare their missions. Then he bumped into the mecha. There was a clanking sound. Bullets are completely invulnerable to Metal Storm. Wong Kai made a mental evaluation. Then he stretched out his right palm, aiming at a heavy machine gun not far away. The blue electric light shines in the palm. After a short period of energy accumulation, a blue light ball suddenly shot out. It exploded at the heavy machine gun almost instantly. No dazzling sparks appeared, but the shock wave is extremely powerful. The heavy machine gun directly deforms. The terrorist controlled by him flew more than 10 meters away. It fell to the ground and stopped moving. At this time, the grenade attack has also arrived. Sparks and thick smoke instantly surrounded the Metal Storm. There were roars one after another. It seems very powerful. But on the 3-person mecha, it felt like it was scratching an itch. Wong Kai almost didn't feel any movement. Then he raised his arms and gathered them in front of his chest. At the same time, step back with your right foot and lower your body's center of gravity. A blue round energy ball suddenly appeared in front of the palm. The sphere continues to expand over time. It reaches the limit after 0.2 seconds. Then it was launched with a bang at the speed of light. Only a pillar of thunderlight is left on the path. In people's field of vision, it is like a mecha firing a fleeting blue channel, with electric light surging inside, leaving traces of thunder shining in the air. And this is just the beginning. The energy ball hit the crowd of terrorists further away in the next moment. Boom! The energy ball hit the ground, causing an earth-shattering explosion. The airflow surged and raged, and shock waves emerged out of thin air, tearing apart all the surrounding terrorists. Only a man-deep hole was left at the impact site. Inside is a fist-file-sized energy ball. The surrounding ground is a circular magnetic field with a radius of about 2 meters. The blue electromagnetic fireworks are still shining. While Wong Kai was driving Metal Storm, his feet scratched a deep scratch on the ground, showing the powerful recoil of the heavy machine gun. Strong, handsome, Wong Kai commented silently. Whether it's attack power or impressions, Wong Kai was very satisfied. All kinds of firearms are useless. Instead, the mecha giant suddenly appeared and killed many people casually. This group of terrorists suddenly felt deeply frightened. The rout began immediately. Want to escape? Blue flames shot out from the metal mecha's feet and flew into the sky. Move extremely swiftly, extremely fast, holding up the huge blue arm blade that is almost half a person's height on his right arm. Pass through one terrorist after another. Just listen to the popping sound again and again. They were cured of serious diseases caused by wrong births. On the battlefield where we have control of the air, fighting is like a dimensionality reduction strike. The enemy has no chance to fight back. For a while, the only sound left in the valley was the screams of the terrorists. And when Tony put on Mark I and walked out of the cave, all that was seen was the one-sided massacre by Metal Storm. Me. Tony pointed at the 5-meter-tall yellow mecha. His face turned red and he couldn't say anything. I just feel like my creativity has been plagiarized. And the other party also built something dozens of times more powerful than his creativity. Dr. Ethan stared straight in the eyes, looking at the tall, mighty, and drop-dead handsome Metal Storm in admiration. Stark, your suit seems incomparable to this yellow mecha. Tony suddenly felt like he heard the sound of something breaking. HMPH. Can this be compared? What condition do I have? It would be nice if I can move. After speaking, Tony immediately walked out of the cave. Want to see where there are still fish that have slipped through the net. In the end, he actually found a few terrorists hiding behind ammunition boxes. Then the angry Tony fired the missile on his arm. Boom! The flames shot into the sky dozens of meters high. The terrorists were blown directly into the sky. Tony felt extremely comfortable. But it also caused extremely serious consequences. There are too many ammunition and missiles in this valley. This group of terrorists were also placed randomly outside. As a result, the flames generated by the explosion detonated other ammunition and missiles. For a time, there was a continuous sound of explosions in the small valley. Tony could feel the ground shaking. Something doesn't seem right. Ethan, go back quickly. Tony yelled at Ethan. At the same time, he walked extremely cumbersomely into the cave. Boom! There was a sudden violent explosion behind him. The powerful shock wave rolled up the airflow and directly hit the Mark I. It shocked Tony to the point of being internally injured. It seems to have broken the conveyor belt. The right leg was scrapped at that time. Tony could only half kneel on the ground and couldn't even walk. Seeing that the fire was about to engulf Tony, Wong Kai immediately rushed back from a distance. He kicked Mark I suit hard on the butt. Bang! Goal! Tony flew directly into the cave, while Wong Kai drove Metal Storm to catch up and half knelt at the entrance of the cave, blocking all the flames and shock waves. The ground was shaken by successive explosions. Dr. Ethan in the cave was so shocked that he broke into cold sweat. He didn't want to escape right away. As a result, he ended up being buried alive. Fortunately, the explosion did not last long. Within a minute, I no longer felt the strong vibrations. 5 minutes later, the aftermath of the explosion gradually dissipated. Wong Kai drove Metal Storm to stand up, exposing the intact cave entrance. The whole body shines with golden light. The Metal Storm mecha disappeared directly. And Wong Kai also changed the hero template back to Dad Kai. Proved that his inference was correct. Physical fitness is indeed affected by the character of the hero template. We'll add the physical qualities of the original hero to his own body. But even if you still use the Mosey template, due to the use of human enhancement drugs, Wong Kai's physical fitness is also more than 6 times that of ordinary people. If you add Kai Dad, it should be 10 times more. That is to lift about 5 tons of weight. It seems like a lot. But you have to know that Spider-Man, the first brother of Marvel, can easily lift 20 tons of weight, so it doesn't matter if he looks like this. Go into the cave. Tony was lying on the ground cursing, trying to get out of the Mark No. 1 suit, and Dr. Ethan was helping. Wong Kai drove Metal Storm and kicked him up. The already messy parts of the suit became even more messy. The result was that Tony couldn't get rid of Mark 1 no matter how hard he tried. You look very energetic, Mr. Stark. Do you need help? Tony immediately said angrily, of course. Come and help, get me out of here. Dr. Ethan became more respectful when he saw Wong Kai. He was not treated lightly because of his young appearance. Thank you for saving us. Stark was hit by the shock wave of the explosion just now and needs emergency treatment, otherwise his condition will only get worse. Wong Kai nodded after hearing this. He also didn't want Rhodes to see a half-dead Tony. He immediately stepped forward and lifted up Tony in his suit at the same time. The two people suddenly had a look on their faces. Then I saw Wong Kai grabbing the suit with one hand. Tear it hard again. Then the parts on the Mark 1 were ripped off directly. The eyes of the two people watching were twitching. How much strength does this have to tear off the iron sheet? Within a few moments, the Mark No. 1 suit was shattered into pieces of garbage. The situation was not much worse than in the movie, even the iron sheets were broken into pieces. And Tony also got out of it as he wished. Looking at Wong Kai, he was amazed. Is your power the result of another super soldier experiment conducted by the military? Ever since there was a U.S. team, the United States has always wanted to replicate countless super soldiers. After the end of World War II, this program reached its peak during the Cold War. But all failed without exception. So Tony looked at Wong Kai and naturally remembered this matter. Not really. Wong Kai did not explain too much. Take out the locator directly from your pocket. Press the button to notify Rod to come pick him up. What about your mecha? Where did you put such a big thing? Tony was full of curiosity, asking Wong Kai over and over again. But he suddenly stopped, his face suddenly turned pale, and then he spurted out a large mouthful of blood. Dr. Ethan was shocked. Oh my gosh, your injuries seem to be more serious than I expected. It's okay, just a minor injury. Tony wiped his lips and sat on the ground unsteadily. A small injury. Stark, you really know how to joke. Dr. Ethan said helplessly and sarcastically. Wong Kai looked at Tony's pale face. I had no choice but to take out the refreshing crystal from my neck that could slowly restore blood. Put it on him. No, I don't like people handing me things. Tony waved his hand. Dr. Ethan can't control that much. Wong Kai doesn't look like a joking person. The refreshing crystal that took over the green plastic site was hung directly around Tony's neck. The effect is very significant. About 2 or 3 minutes. Tony, who looked like he was about to fall asleep, suddenly became energetic again. I was very surprised when I picked up the refreshing crystal tied with cheap string. What is this? As soon as I put it on, my body feels warm. I can clearly feel that the injury is gradually recovering. According to Western parlance, you can understand it as magic equipment. Wong Kai explained coldly. He also threw the locator to Tony. Then came the explanation about the demonic family. Regardless of whether they believe it or not. After that, no matter how much Tony asked Wong Kai, he never said another word. Time flies. About 5 minutes later, the three of them heard the roar of supersonic fighter jets flying, proving that Rhodes did receive the message. Another half-hour later, Rhodes flew in with 4 armed helicopters, obviously planning to carry out a large-scale bombing against the terrorists. However, when he came to the valley, he was extremely confused when he saw the scorched earth everywhere. This was all done by you? Rhodes asked Wong Kai after getting off the helicopter. Wong Kai glanced at Tony and signaled that the real owner was over there. No, actually this is a good thing Stark did. Explode the valley like this. Wong Kai asked himself that he would never be able to do it without using the cat bomb more than a dozen times. Rhodes then looked at Tony. Although I didn't understand the situation, I still stepped forward and patted my good brother on the shoulder. It's great to see you're okay. Remember to take my car next time. Tony could only smile bitterly at this. Another half-day later, the group took the private plane back to New York. Colonel Rhodes told Pepper the news of Tony's rescue very early. But the latter did not contact him directly by phone. Just waiting at the airport with excitement. It's good to see you back. Little Pepper tried her best to remain reserved and kindly said. Tony saw the tears holding back in Pepper's eyes. He also showed a rare smile. He stepped forward and hugged little Pepper directly. Thank you for waiting. Rhodes had already told him that Pepper had made a lot of efforts during the days when he was missing. How could Tony not be touched by this? Now I need a press conference and a cheeseburger. Half an hour later, Tony was eating a burger at the press conference. At the same time, I also met Obadiah. Then he announced something that shocked everyone. I have decided to shut down the Stark Industries weapons manufacturing division and never reopen it. Now, effective immediately. Countless reporters swarmed in. If you want to have first-hand information. The second in command of Stark Industries, Obadiah, was furious after hearing this. Immediately stepped forward to interrupt Tony's speech. Trying to keep a smile on his face, he told all reporters, the most important thing now is that Tony is back. Don't take what you just said to heart. Watching Obadiah, who was full of bad intentions, dragged Tony away. Wong Kai came to Little Pepper and warned, I have brought Stark back, don't forget about my sister. Pepper nodded immediately in response, don't worry, I will notify you as soon as I find clues about Luna. The two left each other's contact information. Wong Kai left directly. I don't even want refreshing crystals. That thing is just worthless to him. But it gives Tony more time. After all, Tony will find out sooner or later that the arc reactor was poisoned by palladium. Just walked out of the gate of Stark Industrial Zone. A dozen men in black wearing sunglasses suddenly walked out from both sides. Standing on the outside and faintly surrounding Wong Kai. Then a middle-aged man with a worrying hairline appeared from among the many men in black. With a faint smile on his face. It was Coulson from S.H.I.E.L.D. Wong Kai remembered that he should have come to see Tony, who became Iron Man. But it seems a bit early now. Hello sir, we are the Strategic Homeland Defense Attack and Logistics Support Agency, or S.H.I.E.L.D. Do you have time to chat? Coulson's tone was very polite. Wong Kai understood in his heart. It turned out that he was specifically looking for himself. He killed so many gangsters. Knowing that he had already entered S.H.I.E.L.D. for observation, and now that he had rescued Tony, the one-eyed director must have had a plan in mind, so he sent Coulson to contact him. Okay, but it's best to find a quiet place. 10 minutes later. In a deserted Chinese restaurant, Coulson slowly introduced. First of all, let me introduce that S.H.I.E.L.D. is a special department of the International Security Council dedicated to dealing with various strange events. Its responsibility is to protect the world. We will supervise all personnel involved in super ability events, so can you explain the source of your powers? Coulson took out a tablet. There are several videos playing on it. Most of them are scenes of Wong Kai using his immortal demonic body to mow grass in the gang stronghold Wushwang. But there is also a photo taken by a satellite, although relatively vague. But it can also be seen that it was just a dozen hours ago. Pictures of metal storms appearing in the Middle East Valley to attack those terrorists. Without waiting for Wong Kai to ask, Coulson explained directly. This is what we found after you rescued Stark and searched for all the satellites passing over the Middle East at that time. The Mecha appeared out of thin air and disappeared out of thin air. Can you explain it? Coulson looked curious. Compared with various powers and super abilities, Wong Kai's situation left them a little confused. Both armor and sword. Then the Mecha appeared again. Let them not know what kind of super ability this is. Wong Kai pondered for a moment and explained. My power is very strange to explain, so whether you believe it or not is up to you. First of all, I want to make it clear that humans are not alone, and alien civilizations do exist. Coulson's heart suddenly moved. Is it possible that Wong Kai's strange armors and mechas are alien technologies? But that seems to make sense. But before Coulson could continue to think about it, Wang Kai's next words left him shocked and speechless. Countless years ago, a certain super-intelligent life form came to the earth in an ark and was worshipped as a god. Then it created human beings on the earth and conducted some experimental transformations on some life forms. Those beings transformed by the experiment have since then possessed powers beyond ordinary people. Those transformed from humans were later called the demonic family, and those transformed from animals were called demonic species. This is also the origin of the so-called gods, demon hunters, monsters, and evil creatures in various civilizations on the earth. After an unknown number of years, the gods were nowhere to be found. The increasingly powerful demonic family engaged in a desperate battle with the demonic species. The war led to drastic changes in the world and the collapse of the continent. All species became extinct. The two completely declined, and even traces of civilization were wiped out. Erased, only a few lucky ones are left, just like mankind is launching a nuclear war that will destroy the world. Quote, "And I am a descendant of the remaining Eastern demonic family, and now I have awakened super ability due to an accident." Coulson's mouth opened wide after hearing this. "I just feel like my 3 views have been impacted. The shock in my heart is beyond words. But it feels like they all correspond to myths and legends in human history. As long as we think of super-intelligent life forms as aliens, the Ark is a starship, and those transformed beings are nothing more than people with super abilities, it can be easily understood." "Then how do you explain your armor and mecha?" Coulson asked. "They were all made by ancient civilizations that flourished when the gods were alive. I just summoned them from a certain space." "So your ability is actually just teleportation across space. From a modern scientific perspective, you can say that." Coulson frowned for a moment. "I can also understand the super ability of teleportation across space. But other things were truly appalling. Even if we know that there are alien civilizations." According to Wang Kai's narration, human beings are test subjects created by aliens. This kind of thing must not be made public in the United States, where religion is prevalent, otherwise it will only cause unprecedented social turmoil. I calmed down a little. Coulson put aside these distant and unknown truths for the time being. He continued to Wang Kai, "Please don't make these things public." "No problem," Wang Kai responded coldly. These things sounded like fairy tales. Even if they were told, how many people would care? "One more thing, we want to invite you to join S.H.I.E.L.D. Coulson said. This is the purpose of his visit this time. "No problem, but I have a condition." Wang Kai agreed directly. "Please say, first, help me find her. Second, I don't like to have too many restrictions, so don't bother me unless it's a big event." Wang Kai took out a photo of Luna. After taking it, Coulson agreed without thinking. "Just looking for someone. These are small things for S.H.I.E.L.D. Absolutely, we can arrange the status of S.H.I.E.L.D. consultant for you, so that although you don't have many rights, you will be very free most of the time." "Okay, then let's be a consultant. As we all know, the more powerful and awesome people are usually consultants. Although it is on the edge of power, when this power encounters big trouble, it will turn the tide. Then on behalf of S.H.I.E.L.D., I welcome you to join this big family, Mr. Wang Kai." Coulson stood up and stretched out his hand enthusiastically and said. Wang Kai still looked calm. After standing up and shaking hands, the matter was settled. He has no feelings for S.H.I.E.L.D. Joining is just to facilitate finding my sister. Now that Osborne Group, Stark Industries, and S.H.I.E.L.D. have joined forces to search for Luna, Wang Kai doesn't believe that there is not even a single clue. S.H.I.E.L.D. Headquarters, Washington, USA. Coulson told Director Nick Fury everything. The latter didn't react much after hearing this. As long as he agrees to join S.H.I.E.L.D. As for these historical events that are not true or false, they are not important. In addition, if you find information about his sister, don't send it to him immediately. Coulson was suddenly confused. Are you worried about him? That's right. Nick Fury's face remained calm, but his words showed concern. He can kill so many gangsters for his sister, and he will kill anyone in the world without hesitation. If things develop according to the worst-case scenario, and multiplayer sports abuse leads to death, you always know how serious the situation is. Coulson's face changed slightly. Immediately, the 4 words, "killing on a large scale," came to mind. American dignitaries were assassinated in droves. The turmoil it will bring will never be less than that of the 9 demons. I know, but after he saved Stark, he will definitely ask to find his sister. That's right, so you need to find a chance to talk to Stark. Coulson could only smile bitterly at this. Stark doesn't seem like a guy who listens to other people's opinions. Then we can only have a moment of silence for those idiots. Nick Fury said coldly. As an agent, he knows better than anyone how disgusting some powerful people are, and he also knows that what Wong Kai can do is 10,000 times better than these people. Time flies. Wong Kai also ushered in the calmest period since time travel. There is still no news about my sister. The next check-in location is again on the rooftop of Stark Industrial Area, where Iron Man fights Iron Overlord. That place is an energy station. The roof of the large arc reactor. Wong Kai went there once invisibly. As a result, there was no sign in sound. This means you cannot sign in advance. System, since it can't be advanced, can I make a supplementary sign? Wong Kai asked. He also just realized this. There are so many famous scenes in the Marvel world. There are many locations that may be set as check-in locations by the system. For example, the birthplace of Captain America, the birthplace of the Hulk, the birthplace of Captain Marvel, the place where Tony's parents were killed, etc. There is no reason why you can't sign in at these places. Yes, the host can go to the hidden check-in location to re-sign, but the reward at the check-in point is only half. The sound of the system sounded, and Wong Kai immediately became extremely excited. Even half the check-in points are enough. System, why didn't you tell me about such a good thing earlier? Wong Kai asked dissatisfiedly. Because the host didn't ask. The system's straightforward answer made Wong Kai's eyelids jump. But there was nothing we could do. Immediately call Coulson, Pepper and others. I asked them about the location of these events. Then the crazy re-signing started. The first stop is where Daredevil Matt Murdock was contaminated by radioactive materials and became blind, but at the same time his other senses were greatly enhanced and became like a humanoid radar. Ding, it has been detected that the host is in the hidden sign-in location of Daredevil's birthplace, and the re-signing process has begun. The countdown to check-in is 59 seconds. The system sound sounded, and Wong Kai could only wait silently. Ding, congratulations to the host for successfully re-signing. The reward is 50 sign-in points. 50 o'clock, even one draw is not enough. Wong Kai grinned, but no matter how small the mosquito was, it was still meat, so he had no choice but to accept it. Next stop, the birthplace of Captain America. That laboratory in Brooklyn. After 70 years of time passing, this is now an indoor gymnasium. Very easy to enter invisible. After searching for 3 minutes, I finally came across the place where bean sprouts transformed into giant sweet potatoes. Check-in time is 5 minutes. After the end, you will get 250 check-in points. I didn't care that the Chinese people knew the special meaning of the number. Wong Kai went directly to the next check-in location. The highway where Tony's parents were killed has 150 check-in points. Hulk was born in the laboratory and received 250 check-in points. The beach where Captain Marvel was born received 250 check-in points. Then Wong Kai suddenly had an idea. In the name of tourism, we went to the ocean where Captain America crashed. And the cliff where Winter Soldier fell. World War II History Museum. Captain America saves his gay friend Bucky's base alone. We even went to the theater where Captain America performed. Some places are re-signing points, and some places are not. After spending a lot of time, I finally got a total of 1,500 sign-in points, which can be drawn 15 times in a row. Wong Kai was overjoyed and started the lottery immediately after returning to New York. System, I want to draw a lottery. 10 draws in a row. Ding, 1,000 check-in points have been consumed, and the lottery is in progress. Ding, congratulations to the host for obtaining the summoner skill, teleportation. Ding, congratulations to the host for obtaining the summoner skill, sprint. Ding, congratulations to the host for acquiring the skill, Overlord /. Ding, congratulations to the host for getting the equipment, the rechargeable glove. Ding, congratulations to the host for getting the equipment, the rapid combat boots. Ding, congratulations to the host for obtaining consumables, small medicine bottles 3. Ding, congratulations to the host for obtaining the special item, the system map. Ding, Congratulations to the host for obtaining a special item and skill enhancement points 3. The sound of the system flooded Wong Kai's mind for a moment. This reward made him very happy, especially the teleportation in the summoner skill that appears. This summoner skill, which was only available on the experience server, finally solved Wong Kai's difficulty in traveling. Teleport. Summoner skill, chant for 3 seconds after use to teleport to the selected area, cooling time is 150 seconds. Sprint. Summoner skill, after use, the movement speed is increased by 30% for 10 seconds, and the cooling time is 90 seconds. Overlord Slash. Comes from Overlord Shang Yu. After charging in the specified direction, he slashes a huge amount of sword energy horizontally. The cooldown time is 50 seconds. This skill is much better than Guan Yu's sword energy. Although the single sword I drew last time to go to the meeting was used to chop and release the sword energy. But there is a prerequisite. That means having a mount. Otherwise, it will not be released. Although Wong Kai tried to sail a boat instead of a mount, he was unable to use skills, which really put Wong Kai into a trap. The 2 pieces of equipment are quite satisfactory. The rechargeable glove is like a fist blade. Its attribute is that there is a 15% chance of a critical hit when attacking, causing twice the damage. The rapid boots increase the movement speed and attack speed. Wong Kai feels more agile after wearing them. And the system map. At present, it is found that it has no effect except for use with teleportation. Finally, there is the skill enhancement point. The system generously gave out 3 skill points this time. As usual, fill them all into the immortal demon body. Ding! Congratulations to the host for upgrading the skill immortal demonic body, which increases the original attributes by 140%. The current level is 7. There is no duration limit after it is turned on. At the same time, the skill integrate has been turned on. Skill integrate. What does system, skill integrate mean? Wong Kai asked. The skill integrate is a newly awakened attribute of the immortal demonic body after it is upgraded to level 7 and the cooling time and duration restrictions disappear. You can integrate other extracted skills with the immortal demon body, extract their skill characteristics and add them to the immortal demon body, and enjoy the attack power bonus of the immortal demon body. Wong Kai's heart moved after hearing this. Attack power bonus. In other words, under Kai Daddy's hero template, there is no bonus for using other skills. It feels a bit like the border breakout mode. The attack power of the picked up skills is fixed, while the attack power of the hero's original skills will be enhanced according to the equipment and purchased attributes. Then what will happen if I integrate the solo meeting into the immortal demon body? After integrating the skill, the mount restriction disappears, and each vertical slash can trigger a sword attack. What if we integrate Overlord Slash? After integrating the skill, each horizontal slash can trigger a sword attack, and it can be charged and used to cause a wider range of attacks. How many skills can be integrated in total? 3. You can integrate 1 more for each level. Wong Kai nodded with satisfaction after hearing this. This is enough. Well, let's go to the meeting alone with integrate first. My 40-meter sword is already thirsty. Ding! The skill integrate has been completed. Congratulations to the host for integrating the skill solo. Go to the meeting into the immortal demonic body. Open the system map immediately. Select the uninhabited Grand Canyon in the western United States. Use teleport to get there. Suddenly 7 layers of light blue light surrounded Wong Kai. And keeps moving upward, as time continues to accelerate. When the time limit of 3 seconds was about to be reached, Wong Kai's figure was quickly covered, and suddenly disappeared with a whoosh, leaving only a spot of light in place, which was extinguished in an instant. Colorado Grand Canyon, USA. There are ravines and peaks formed by red sandstone everywhere. The rock walls of the mountain peaks all present a strange scene like a 1,000-layer cake. It attracts many tourists to visit every year. And today, suddenly, an uninvited guest named Wong Kai came. Trough! Wong Kai shouted loudly. The place where he teleported and landed was in the sky. As a result, he suddenly lost his center of gravity and fell to the ground. Waving his limbs randomly and seeing that he was about to be slapped on the red rock, Wong Kai immediately activated his immortal demonic body. Eat me with a knife. The blue magic blade in his hand instantly became extremely huge. Wong Kai raised it above his head. Clench your hands tightly and then slash downward with all your strength. Boom! A huge light blue sword energy appeared instantly. The chop caused a shocking roar after hitting the ground. The clanking sound is extremely harsh. The blade cut straight into dozens of meters without any hindrance. The majestic mountain peaks are also like cakes. Huge amounts of cracks were cut out by Wong Kai's knife. Very good. Wong Kai struck out with a knife, then withdrew the reaction force and turned around in the air to spin and land. It's so exciting to see your own masterpiece. Such an attack. Even when Hulk comes, you have to weigh it carefully. He is now Nifeng with a 40-meter sword. Hit whoever you want to hit. Feeling happy, Wong Kai started practicing chopping in the canyon. One knife after another, it took only a moment to split a low red rock mountain into shape, venting the resentment in his heart wantonly. Huge amounts of roaring sound spread throughout the surrounding area, attracting several tourist enthusiasts. Oh my god, what's happening here? Several people were stunned, and some people reacted instantly. Holding a camera and mobile phone, he took a picture of Wong Kai, who was wearing blue armor. Just then the phone rang. Wong Kai had no choice but to put away the magic blade. The magic armor turns into light and merges into the body. Take out the phone in your jacket pocket. Only then did I realize it was S.H.I.E.L.D. At this point in time, Tony should have officially broken up with Obadiah. Could it be that he is looking for himself to save Tony? Wong Kai answered the phone with questions. Hello, what's the matter? Oops Kai, Tony was kidnapped again. Wong Kai. What the hell, you can still be kidnapped in your own home. Can you come to Stark Industries? I want to talk to you in person. No problem. After hanging up the phone, Wong Kai started the transmission directly. Disappears in place after 3 seconds. The few travel enthusiasts only took pictures of their backs in casual clothes and their short blue hair. Quick, let's upload this video to the internet. It will definitely become a hit. But what should that person be called? Why don't we call him Sword Man? Isn't that what he holds? No, what he is holding is a knife. The blue color all over his body should be called a blue knife. Fart, I think it should be called the Slasher. The group of people began to quarrel over Wong Kai's hero name. And Wong Kai has already arrived at Xiao Zhao's office last time. What's going on? Didn't he make a steel suit? He's been fighting terrorists all over the world these days, why was he kidnapped again? Little Pepper looked like she was crying. He said anxiously. I don't know, he disappeared after attending a party at night and driving home alone. The sports car was found completely burned on the coast, and there was no trace of the person. Did anyone send a ransom message? No, now Obadiah has asked me not to tell this matter, because the company's stock can no longer accept the decline. Wong Kai understood instantly. Probably his arrival caused the butterfly effect. So Obadiah, the Marvel version of Yu Bukchun, has become smarter. Another trick to kidnap Tony. Whether it is imprisoning Tony and forcing him to hand over the miniaturization technology of the arc reactor, or giving Tony a laboratory under house arrest to allow this great genius to create more advanced weapons. Obadiah always makes sure he makes money without losing money. As for the military and the board of directors, they don't care. One of them wanted weapons and the other wanted money. Tony cut off their way, and they were afraid of killing Tony. Where is Obadiah now? Not sure, but definitely not in Stark Tower. Well, you go to his office now and look for any clues from the secret disk in his computer. Little Pepper was stunned and opened his mouth wide. You are suspicious, that's right, who else could be there besides him? The second in command wanted to be the boss. Stark Industries was changed to Steny Industries, the gangs fought, Tony died suddenly, how pleasant it sounds. Little Pepper was doubtful. I had no choice but to follow Wong Kai's instructions. As a result, he came back less than 10 minutes later with an angry look on his face. You're right. Obadiah not only colluded with terrorists to kidnap Tony, but also launched a secret project under Area 16 of the industrial area. He's developing Tony's iron suit. Little Pepper picked up the USB flash drive in her hand. All information has been copied inside. Just rely on this. You can kick Obadiah off the board of directors and put him in jail. Lose everything you have. I suspect Tony is being held underneath Area 16. Little Pepper said worriedly. Wong Kai agreed. After all, Obadiah's Iron Overlord suit requires energy, and the thing on Tony's chest is the best source. After that, all we have to do is get another electromagnet and put it on to keep Tony alive. I'll go find Stark, and you go contact Coulson and ask him to bring an agent to protect you. If Obadiah discovers that you copied the information, he will come back and kill you." On Obadiah's side, at this time, he was trying to persuade Tony in the laboratory of Area 16. "Tony, hand over the miniaturization technology of the arc reactor, then you can continue to be your playboy, otherwise those missile fragments will only make your life worse than death." The small arc reactor has been taken down. It's in the palm of Obadiah's hand. Tony's hands and feet were tied up. A large electromagnet was also installed on his chest to extend his life. The most murderous thing is that the wire connecting the electromagnet is fixed to the power interface of the laboratory, just like a dog, locked here by Obadiah. "Do you think I'm a 3-year-old? Tony gritted his teeth and looked at Obadiah fiercely. He couldn't believe it no matter what. The elder whom I have always trusted so much actually wants to kill myself. "I know, so I will torture you and blackmail you." Obadiah sneered. "I know you like pepper pots, so smart Stark, guess what means I will use on pepper pots to force you to hand over this technology." Tony's expression suddenly changed, with Obadiah's character. "This is absolutely no joke. Shameless old thief. Ha ha ha, seeing how excited you are, I know you care about it. I'll give you an hour to think about it seriously." Obadiah walked out of the laboratory with a smile on his face. He said to the 4 heavily armed men who came in, "Protect him and don't let this goose that lays golden eggs commit suicide." Then he took his men and went straight to Stark Tower. Tony was left with a look of despair. If you hand over the miniaturization technology of the arc reactor, the world may fall into a quagmire of all-out war, but if you don't hand over the miniaturization technology of the arc reactor, Pepper will definitely be humiliated until death. These 4 burly men were definitely found deliberately by Obadiah. Is this the price of being a hero? Tony experienced the fiercest ideological struggle in his mind for a while and fell into a dilemma. Is it love or justice? Half an hour passed before I knew it. The sky outside fell into darkness. But Tony still hasn't thought about it. My whole body felt like it was about to burst. At this time, just hear a loud bang. The heavy alloy door of the sealed laboratory was kicked open. Who? The 4 sturdy men reacted quickly. Without waiting for anyone to answer, he already pulled the trigger in his hand. 4 M4A1 assault rifles spit out tongues of fire crazily. Suddenly there was loud gunfire in the laboratory. Smoke spreads everywhere. Nearly 100 bullets were fired in just a few breaths. But without exception, it all seemed like hitting a metal iron plate, making a clanging sound. Wartfok. The 4 of them couldn't believe their eyes. The man in front of him wearing ferocious blue armor didn't even move. "Their bullets are useless. I saved your life again, Stark. How do you want to repay him?" As he spoke, Wong Kai began to walk quickly. As fast as lightning. The tiger is underfoot and the wind is blowing. The 4 sturdy men only saw an afterimage in their field of vision. Before I could react, I suddenly felt my strength draining rapidly. Bloodlines slowly appeared on the neck. As soon as his eyes closed, his body fell uncontrollably. "Quick, leave me alone and go save Potts. She is in danger now." Tony was not happy to see Wong Kai. On the contrary, I was extremely worried about little Pepper's safety. Rest assured, Wong Kai put a touch on the mask, revealing that extremely handsome young face. Coulson leads a team of S.H.I.E.L.D. agents to protect her. As he spoke, he stepped forward and cut off the rope on Tony's body, and the latter finally relaxed. "What should I do with this electromagnet?" Wong Kai asked. "Just go find a car battery." Tony looked helpless. The matter was urgent, and he couldn't care less. After going round and round, I returned to the car battery. The 2 quickly left Stark Industrial Area. Wong Kai did not chop the Iron Overlord into scrap metal. After all, the check-in mission of Iron Man vs. Iron Overlord still needs to continue. Tony drove back to his beach house. After removing the electromagnet and installing the old-fashioned small arc reactor for himself, Iron Man came to life again after putting on an extremely cool mechanical suit. "Obadiah," Tony growled lowly. The pilot's suit sprayed out angry flames and flew towards Stark Tower with a whoosh. "I'm anxious." Wong Kai was quite emotional when he saw Tony running to confront Obadiah without even having time to say a word. Look at the Mark II next to you that has not yet been painted. There is no fluctuation in my heart. Teleport directly to Stark Industrial Zone. Silently waiting for the sign in time to come. On Obadiah's side. First, I came to the company and accidentally found Xiao leaving in a hurry. He looked anxious and was protected by bodyguards. This immediately aroused Obadiah's alarm. After arriving at his office, checking the history records, I found that all confidential files had been copied. Fake. All criminal records were taken away. As long as he is exposed, his life will be over. Go kill that woman. Get the USB flash drive back. Whoever can do it will get $5 million. Obadiah gave tips on how to deal with it. The mercenaries under him immediately went excitedly to find the trouble for Little Pepper. And he himself returned to Area 16. Want to hide Tony in another place. As a result, when I returned to the laboratory, I only saw the death of 4 of my subordinates. He instantly realized that he had been tricked. Obadiah roared in his heart. Seeing that he was about to reach the sky in one step, the steps under his feet were actually taken away. This time he would definitely fall to pieces. But Obadiah knows Tony very well, knowing that he will definitely come to take revenge in person. So now there is still some way to save it. Quickly arrived at a secret basement in District 16. Obadiah's Iron King uniform is here. This was what he immediately sent people to search for in the Terrorist Valley after he knew that Tony was back alive. He brought back all the design drawings and scrapped parts. Made after a few minor improvements of my own. It is huge in size and stronger than Mark III. On the right hand is a 20mm caliber rotary cannon, on the left arm is a 6-shot Sidewinder missile, on the shoulder is an anti-tank rocket, and on the foot is a rocket nozzle, which provides sufficient thrust for the suit to fly. The aesthetic style of Soviet heavy industry is everywhere reflected. Putting on the battle suit, Obadiah broke through the wall and came out to the roof of the factory in District 16. Silently waiting for Tony to come. Wong Kai watched indifferently, invisible. It's finally time to wrap up Iron Man 1 and complete this check-in. But suddenly, the phone rang. Wong Kai's position was immediately exposed. Upon hearing this, Obadiah immediately turned towards the direction of the sound. He raised his right-hand cannon and shouted, "Who is it? Come out." In desperation, Wong Kai could only show up. He took out his phone and checked it to find that it was Coulson. "Hello, just press the answer button." Wong Kai made a phone call while minding his own business. When Obadiah saw this, he was furious. It doesn't matter if the Iron Overlord is not surprised when he sees him, he actually dares to completely ignore himself. This is a steel mecha nearly 3 meters tall. A complete killing machine. The sense of oppression it brings is enough to be jaw-dropping. But Wong Kai didn't react at all. This seems like an insult to Obadiah. Go to hell. Obadiah ran over and raised huge amounts of steel palms, and slapped Wong Kai hard. Wong Kai looked at the steel hand as if he was frightened and did not move. Seeing that the big slap is about to touch my forehead, Wong Kai finally ended the call and put down his phone. Kick your feet, raise your hands. Just listen to a muffled bang. A ring of smoke spreads out from under your feet. Nothing happened to Wong Kai. He was able to withstand this blow using only his physical strength. What? Obadiah was immediately shocked and turned pale. This slap is enough to kill a buffalo with huge amounts of mechanical force. As a result, this young man who looked extremely immature actually blocked it very easily. This person must not be left here. Obadiah raised his right-hand cannon. The black muzzle of the gun was almost shoved into Wong Kai's nose. But without waiting for Obadiah to press the launch button, Wong Kai turned into an afterimage and disappeared on the spot. When he appeared again, he was already downstairs, dozens of meters away from the two of them. Want to run? The aiming system immediately locked onto Wong Kai. The Sidewinder missile on his arm rotated and ejected, spraying out hot fireworks and flying straight towards Wong Kai. Swirling blade. The rotating blue blade suddenly flew out. Collided with a Sidewinder missile in the air. The dazzling flames are extremely dazzling at night. Just hearing the roar of an explosion, Wong Kai disappeared without a trace. Only the lingering sound surrounds it. Don't die too quickly. Let your father spare your life in vain. It's not that I don't want to accept these 100 check-in points. But the sign in time has not arrived. And Coulson is in urgent need of his help. Obadiah was gnashing his teeth in his uniform. After searching and finding that no one was found, they had to give up. At this time, Tony finally arrived, and the battle between the two was finally about to begin. Coulson sighed. He discovered that the situation was far more serious than he imagined. A group of unidentified militants suddenly appeared. Armed with automatic weapons, they started shooting at them wildly in the car. A real-life GTA was staged on the streets for a while. The roar of car engines and the continuous sound of gunshots frightened passers-by. They hid in the shops along the street. He didn't dare to show his head until the sound of gunfire gradually faded away. How dare Obadiah let his men commit such a blatant attack? Coulson hated this kind of racing gunfight. Looking at the fanatical mercenaries chasing after them, I knew that these guys had been blinded by money. They had no choice but to take out their Glocks and fight back. The group of people fought and fled, driving quickly towards the NYPD police station. At this time, Little Pepper bowed down and was safely protected by the agents. Listening to the continuous sound of gunfire, I felt like my heart was about to jump out of my chest. God knows if the next bullet will hit the fuel tank and cause an explosion. Or hit the tire and make the car roll over. Or even smash their heads directly through the glass. Kai isn't here yet. Come on. Logically speaking, his mecha can fly over in a few minutes. Coulson responded, looking back at the 3 cars chasing behind me. But in an instant, even his face turned green. What the hell? RPG. As soon as he finished speaking, the mercenary holding a rocket launcher in the vehicle behind him pulled the trigger, and the rocket flew with a long tail towards the vehicle where Coulson and others were riding. The driving agent instantly hit the steering wheel. The car swerved and barely dodged the rocket. Boom. There was a roar on the road ahead. The dazzling firelight flashed away. The agent's vision was temporarily affected. He almost hit the road pillar. As a result, he turned the steering wheel hard and made a screeching sound, and the car turned sideways and rolled on the street. Coulson saw the emergency situation and hugged Pepper. This resulted in him not being injured in the collision. The car rolled over 3 or 4 times. Finally stopped. Several people were beaten to pieces. It was difficult to escape from the carriage for a while. Quick, kill them. The pursuing Obadiah men were so happy that they fired another rocket. Seeing that several people were about to be blown up into the sky. Suddenly there was the noise of a jet aircraft in the distance. Huge amounts of sound filled the streets. The air waves it brought were like a Category 8 gale, flying from the end of the street in the blink of an eye. Wong Kai piloted the Metal Storm mecha and finally appeared, arriving above the mercenaries in an instant. Then he suddenly changed direction and punched downwards. Boom! The vehicle exploded into pieces. The people inside died suddenly. The flames rose up along the mecha's arms, but he couldn't reach the angular face of the mecha. Wong Kai stood up and glanced at the other 2 cars at his feet. The people inside had fear written all over their faces. A 5-meter-tall mecha appeared. The speed is even faster than the speed of sound. This frightening sense of oppression. Even giving them 10 times the RPG is useless. We surrender. Surrender. Quickly throw down your weapons and raise your hands. The remaining 5 mercenaries very wisely walked out of the car and lay on the ground with their heads in their hands. Coulson also climbed out of the rolling car at this time. He looked up and was stunned to see this cool mecha. Oh my god, this is 1,000 times more handsome than in the photo. That's enough. Kai, leave the rest to us, Coulson said loudly. Together with Coulson, there are a total of 5 agents. They all only suffered minor injuries. There was no problem watching over this group of terrified mercenaries. Oh well, Wong Kai teleported on the spot again. 3 seconds after a blue aura appeared on his body, he returned to Stark Industrial Area 16. Ha ha ha, Tony. Obviously my mecha is stronger. An extremely wild voice sounded. Iron Overlord is currently torturing Iron Man. Since there is no help from Little Pepper in the original plot, coupled with the insufficient energy of the old reactor, so Tony played extremely hard. Ding, it is detected that the host has arrived at the check-in location where Iron Overlord fights Iron Man. The check-in time is 3 minutes. If the stay time is less than 3 minutes, the check-in will be deemed as failed. The countdown to check-in is 2 minutes and 59 seconds. The sound of the system sounded, and the metal storm was as fast as lightning. It came to Iron Overlord in an instant and kicked Iron Overlord away with one kick. Iron Overlord crashed through the wall and fell to the ground. Wong Kai immediately stepped forward and stepped on him. Charge up the palm particle cannon and aim it directly at Iron Overlord head. Do you deserve to be called a mecha? Metal Storm, who is 5.21 meters tall, can step on Iron Overlord who is less than 3 meters tall. 1 foot is almost as big as Iron Overlord chest. The two are not on the same level in terms of body shape alone. It's like a father hitting his son. Go to hell. Obadiah was so angry that he burst into smoke and thunderous rage. Raise your left arm to launch all Sidewinder missiles at once. In an instant, the metal storm was covered in flames and roars. But Wong Kai only felt a little movement. Sidewinder missiles are like tickling metal storm. How can this be? Obadiah did not believe in evil, so he raised the 20mm caliber rotating cannon in his other hand, pointed it at the mecha and poured out all the bullets. The dense rain of bullets even formed spears of bullets. But it still couldn't break through Metal Storm's defense. Then Obadiah sprayed flames from his feet. Want to escape from the Metal Storm. But the rocket jet that can make Iron Overlord fly high into the sky seems to be nailed to the ground without moving at all. Your time has come, Wong Kai said coldly. The particle cannon suddenly fires from the palm of your hand. The blue electric light carried huge amounts of kinetic energy and instantly touched the Iron Overlord head. Just a roar dented the Iron Overlord mask. Then Wong Kai switched to his other hand. Fire the palm particle cannon again. Boom, the oozing blood flows out. Wong Kai also received the message from the system. Ding, congratulations to the host for killing the villain Iron Overlord and gaining 100 check-in points. Golden light shines around you. The mecha suddenly became transparent and then disappeared. Wong Kai fell from the sky. The Iron Overlord looked indifferent. Stark, I have saved you 3 times, and I saved Potts just now. Don't you have anything to say? Tony stood up staggeringly, watching Wong Kai fill the cup. His eyelids jumped. What should he say? You've stolen all the limelight. I'm going to run with you and get beaten all the time. HMPH, I can defeat him without you coming here. The arrogant Tony had a look of broken thoughts on his face. But then he changed the subject and said, don't worry, I will let Jarvis hack into all the electronic devices connected to the internet when I go back. There will always be clues after sifting through the layers. Wong Kai then jumped off the Iron Overlord with satisfaction. Tony is willing to do such illegal and criminal things. It was hard for him to say anything more. Ding, congratulations to the host for signing in at the place where Iron Overlord fought Iron Man. The sign-in time exceeded 3 minutes and the sign-in task was successfully completed. Ding, the reward is 300 check-in points. Ding, the next sign-in location is where Tony Stark announces his identity as Iron Man. If you stay for more than 1 minute, you will be deemed to have signed in successfully. This is very easy, and now he happens to be at check-in point 900. Add another 100 points to make up the next 10 draws in a row. There is no need to say more about what happens next. With all the evidence of Obadiah's crimes, Tony, who had been kicked out of the board of directors by Obadiah, came back and regained control of the board of directors after absorbing Obadiah's shares, appointing Pepper, the most trustworthy person, as CEO. Stark Industries stock has finally begun to recover after plummeting. The board of directors won't say anything anymore when they have money. Then it was to block the way for the military to reach out and ask for weapons. Tony took the initiative to hand over the Mark II to his friend Colonel Rhodes. A good gay friend can tell what the other person means with just one look. The steel suit technology exceeds the current world technological level by at least 30 years. If you leave it to the military, they won't be able to figure out a way out for a while. So under the operation of the two people's connections, Stark Industries finally made it through the crisis safely. 3 days later, the press conference was held. Tony stood on the podium looking at the countless reporters below. With a thought in my heart, I threw the speech copy away very coolly. My friend Colonel Rhodes, who was watching, covered his head and was speechless for a while. Today I am here to announce a major event. But before Tony finished speaking, the reporters below asked a lot of questions. Mr. Stark, is the car chase on 5th Avenue last night related to Stark Industries? Especially the huge golden mecha with sharp edges that appeared at the end was so handsome. Mr. Stark, how do you explain the battle in the industrial area last night? Were the big black robots and the ordinary gold-red armor caused by Stark Industries? Do you know that golden mecha with sharp angles? Now he is the #1 topic on the internet. Tony was speechless for a moment. Something seems wrong. Why did his advanced armor become a golden red ordinary armor? Everything is getting closer to that boy Wong Kai. This is not possible, we have to steal the limelight back. Ahem, since you ask the question sincerely, I will tell you all the truth. All reporters settled down immediately. I want to hear what shocking words Tony, a prodigal son who never plays by the rules, will say. Rhodes' expression changed, just wanted to step forward and stop Tony. The latter immediately gave me an, I understand, look. Rhodes had no choice but to believe Tony. Step aside and give him the stage. That big, silly robot was actually secretly built by Obadiah, the top executive of Stark Industries. The driving energy of the armor is a new technology I invented, the arc reactor miniaturization technology. Obadiah stole the finished product of this technology and installed it on his own armor. The battle scenes in Stark Industrial Zone will only occur after the whereabouts are revealed. After Tony finished speaking, the scene was not as crazy as imagined. The finished product of the arc reactor has already appeared. Tony's factory was advertised when it was built. However, this cost problem is difficult to solve. Therefore it has not been taken seriously. 9 out of 10 reporters Tony met had no idea how big a shock this technology would bring. Just add another fire. In the future, the small arc reactor will serve as a pure new energy product, replacing weapons and becoming the pillar industry of Stark Industry. As soon as these words came out, the reporters finally became excited. New energy. It sounds noble. This is an invention that can change the world. As for the golden red armor, newspapers also called it Iron Man. Tony suddenly smiled playfully. In fact, I am Iron Man. The atmosphere at the scene finally reached the climax as expected. Countless reporters handed the microphone to Tony's mouth. I want to interview about new energy, Iron Man, and the last person, and even so, there are actually more people asking about the golden armor. Mr. Stark, who is the driver of the golden armor? I'm Iron Man. Iron Man, may I ask who the owner of that extremely cool golden armor is? I'm Iron Man. Tony stormed out of the door angrily. What is this? Is Iron Man so shameless? Jarvis, the #1 topic on the internet right now is Wong Kai, and the #2 topic is always me. Tony asked angrily while holding a tablet in the car. Sorry sir, second place is still Kai. Jarvis's voice sounded. It also changed the content on the tablet to the current topic ranking at a very timely manner. The first one is naturally the Metal Storm Mecha. The sharp-edged appearance and cool golden body have attracted countless attention. And most importantly, he is too big. He is called Goldman by countless netizens and Tony is Iron Man. Which is higher or lower is self-evident. The second one is Dad Kai. The video of him using his immortal demonic body to slash at the Grand Canyon with a 40-meter sword and chopping up mountain peaks like vegetables also shocked countless netizens. Although only the blue back remains in the end, the heat is still ridiculously high. The title has not yet been unified. Nicknamed the Blue Man. The third one is Iron Man, who is becoming more and more famous. Known for fighting terrorists, these three are the three heroes with the hottest topics and the most discussions. P.S. The fourth one is the new good neighbor Spider-Man. Tony's eyelids jumped after reading this. Kai K is so powerful, but he really has no cards. Jarvis, buy this website. Pin all topics related to me to the top. Yes, sir. Satisfy your vanity a little. Tony returned to the Coast Villa and started writing a program to find Wong Kai's sister. Face recognition has been used. Couldn't find any useful information at all. Therefore, some illegal means can only be used. This requires Tony to write several programs. Like a magnet, look for clues from clues like looking for needles in a haystack of keywords. Wong Kai's sighed. He himself didn't expect that being invisible throughout the entire process would disrupt Tony's press conference. I don't want to unknowingly. His strength is already higher than most people in the Avengers. I am Iron Man and the sign-in has been completed. The next check-in location is the familiar place where Abomination, who was beaten at the beginning and beaten countless times, fights with Hulk. Please wait for 5 minutes to sign in. With Wong Kai's current strength, it should be a sure shot against Abomination and Hulk. System, I want to draw a lottery, 10 draws in a row. Ding, 1000 check-in points have been consumed, and the lottery is in progress. Ding, congratulations to the host for obtaining the summoner skill, Purification. Ding, congratulations to the host for obtaining the summoner skill, Fury. Ding, congratulations to the host for getting the equipment, Feng Ming Ring. Ding, congratulations to the host for getting the equipment, Whisper of the Wind. Ding, congratulations to the host for obtaining the equipment, the Wind Spirit Emblem. Ding, congratulations to the host for obtaining the equipment, the Encouragement Shield. Ding, congratulations to the host for obtaining equipment and star accessories. Ding, congratulations to the host for obtaining consumables, Small Medicine Bottles 3. Ding, congratulations to the host for obtaining a special item, Passionate Roses 10. Ding, congratulations to the host for getting special items, coupon cards and gift packs of your choice. Question mark question mark question mark. Wong Kai's mind is like this. All are question marks. What the hell, a wholesale sale of auxiliary equipment. He just wants a skill enhancement point. Wong Kai felt that he needed calm boots to calm down. The skills of the two summoners are not bad. Purification removes all negative and control effects on oneself and becomes immune to control for 1.5 seconds, with a cooldown of 120 seconds. Fury. After use, all attributes of the self are increased by 10%, lasting 7 seconds, and cooling down for 60 seconds. With Purification, you no longer have to worry about being mind-controlled, and Fury is a good helper that can be used in seconds. But look at the next 5 auxiliary equipment: 2 rings, 1 red and 1 green, a golden armband that can be worn on the arm, a golden shield, and an emerald necklace. In addition to the unified 5% increase in movement speed and life limit, there are other attributes. Red ring, Feng Ming Ring, increases the attack speed of friendly forces within a certain range by 20%. The green ring, Whisper of the Wind, can release a shield for designated teammates, with a cooldown time of 60 seconds. Golden armband, Wind Spirit Emblem, increases the movement speed of friendly forces within a certain range by 20%, lasting 5 seconds, and has a cooldown time of 60 seconds. Golden Shield, Shield of Inspiration, improves the defense of friendly forces within a certain range. Emerald Necklace, Star Accessory, establishes a connection with a teammate and shares the damage received. Except for the Golden Shield, the Encouragement Shield and the Vibranium Shield are both difficult to obtain. All other equipment can be worn on the body, and there are no attribute conflicts in the game. Although it also improved his strength. But I always feel that it is not as straightforward and comfortable as slashing the king with a sword. System, how do these pieces of equipment distinguish friendly forces from enemies? In the game is automatically divided into 2 parties, red and blue. This is certainly not the case in the real world. This is controlled by the user's subconscious mind. The system's answer is quite satisfactory. Wong Kai then put on 4 pieces of auxiliary equipment. Throw the Encouragement Shield into the system backpack. Moving on to the last 2 special items. Passionate Rose, a flower card composed of 15 pink roses. When given to others, it can increase their favorability towards you and is a powerful tool for making friends. Discount Coupon Card Optional Gift Pack. After opening it, you can get 100 points coupon discount card. System, can I recharge coupons and purchase items? No, the King's Sign-In system does not have a fill money module. Then what's going on with this discount card? Quote. Isn't this a thank you for your patronage? Ah, what you said makes sense. After drawing the prizes, I have nothing to do. Wong Kai thought for a while and then took out his phone and dialed Coulson's number. Hi, I'm Kai, and I want to conduct a test on my overall physical fitness. Although the latter was surprised, he didn't think much about it. After all, they also want it. It would be better if we could get Wong Kai's blood. A Quinjet was directly dispatched to respond. In less than half an hour, we arrived at the S.H.I.E.L.D. headquarters. Coulson came to receive him. In words, I am very grateful to Wong Kai for saving his life last time. You're welcome. Since I get paid by S.H.I.E.L.D., this matter doesn't mean anything. I was given a monthly salary card of 100,000 United States dollars. It was also appropriate to save Coulson. You want to start testing from one aspect. S.H.I.E.L.D has ample underground weapons testing sites. Coulson asked. Let's start with weightlifting. So a much anticipated test began. In addition to the S.H.I.E.L.D agents who train daily, viewers, there are also senior executives such as Nick Fury behind the screen. Too light. Wong Kai looked at the 500-kilogram barbell at his feet and shook his head. Lift it up with a hook on the instep, hold it with one hand and swing it twice, but the heavy metal barbell is like a children's toy. My strength is at least 5 tons. Is there such a counterweight? Coulson's eyelids jumped after hearing this. 5 tons, several levels higher than his idol Captain America. It turns out that your power is already level 4, so you have to go to other places to test it. This place is only for ordinary people. Level 4. Coulson nodded and told Wong Kai about S.H.I.E.L.D's strength test classification. 1 represents a weak object that cannot bear the same weight as itself. 2 represents normal and can bear objects of the same weight as itself. 3 represents the limit of ordinary people, an object that can bear twice its own weight. 4 represents beyond the limit of ordinary people and can bear a weight of 800 kilograms to 25 tons. 5 means far beyond the limit of ordinary people and can bear a weight of 25 tons to 75 tons. Then there is level 6, from 75 tons to 100 tons. Level 7, more than 100 tons, cannot be calculated. In addition, there are test values such as speed, endurance, intelligence, and combat skills, which basically follow the comic settings. Wong Kai has strength level 4. Captain America is power 3, class. The upcoming Hulk, has strength level 7. The two of them were chatting and walking. Soon he left the place where ordinary agents were trained. Much to the regret of many people. This is it. These devices are specially prepared for level 3 and above. Coulson pointed to the vast underground testing site. There are not all kinds of advanced instruments in it as imagined. There were only cement blocks, cars, and even a road roller with weights marked on them. You really know how to save money. Wong Kai complained. There must not be many people here all year round. Therefore, no high-tech testing equipment was purchased. Coulson smiled slightly and said nothing. I understand everything. Came to a 5-ton small roller. Wong Kai moved his body and started the test. The muscles all over the body are tense. Bend your knees down and reach out to grab the rail. Hold your breath and start jerking upward. As the strength continues to increase, he seemed to be able to hear the creaking sounds of the bones all over his body. When your legs are straightened, Wong Kai is also used to the feeling of heavy objects. The knees bend again, but not to let it go, but test your explosive power. Gritting his teeth, he poured out all the strength in his body in an instant. While others flipped the table, he flipped the road roller. He raised his hand and threw the road killer into the air. After spinning 3 times, he landed with a thud. A hole was made in the ground. A mortal demonic body. Blue armor surged onto his body. Wong Kai walked to a 10-ton road roller again and lifted it up again. This time it even flew up to the ceiling. After falling, the violent impact made a deafening sound, almost like an earthquake. Then came 15 tons, 20 tons, 30 tons. Wong Kai overturned all the rollers in the testing site. It didn't stop until it reached 50 tons. The constant roar and earthquake-like feeling left Coulson speechless and dumbfounded. The shock in his heart was all written on his face. Is the ground below this hollow or solid? Wong Kai suddenly asked. Bring the shocked Coulson back to reality. Think about that video on the internet. He immediately shook his head like a rattle. No, 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 please collect your magical powers. Let's go test the others. The 100-meter run took less than 1 second. You can also run 3,000 meters in 40 seconds. Throw a shot put directly through the wall. After image appears in Whack-A-Mole. One Punch Co boxing machine. More than half of the test machines in the entire venue were damaged after turning on the immortal demon body. Wong Kai deeply engraved his unparalleled power in Coulson's memory. It was not easy to send Wong Kai away without any satisfaction. Coulson could only smile bitterly. Nick Fury is determined to bring Wong Kai closer to the Avengers. And in the darkness, Hydra, which actually controls S.H.I.E.L.D, sees things differently. This man is too strong. He will be an obstacle to Hydra's unification of the world. Alexander Pierce, the minister of the World Security Council and actually the leader of the S.H.I.E.L.D. branch of Hydra, said this after watching Wong Kai's test. There's no way he and Nick Fury are on the same page. Just a moment to connect all the clues. A conspiracy has already taken shape in Pierce's mind. Use S.H.I.E.L.D. to eliminate Wong Kai. It only takes one very simple step. Let's go all out to find the girl named Luna. No matter what her situation is, she will definitely be related to several powerful families in the United States today. Pearson gave the order with a sinister smile. At this time, even Wong Kai did not expect that. Actually, even Hydra started to help him find his sister. Compared to the hacking methods Tony used to find clues, Hydra's agents are even more unscrupulous. They have prepared enough truth serum that can make people tell the truth, as well as potions that can make people forget the memory of that night. People who take it will only remember that they drank too much and have no idea of everything they have revealed. So after kidnapping and releasing countless powerful people, finally, they found relevant clues. The result was unexpected. It can even be said that it is better than expected. The little girl committed suicide, which is related to many people. Pierce was instantly overjoyed after reading the relevant list. These idiots really asked for this. They did themselves a big favor by risking their own lives. New York, Rayburn College. Just a few hours ago, when Wong Kai went to the S.H.I.E.L.D. headquarters in Washington, a battle broke out here. Thunderbolt General Ross led the Hulk pursuit team to capture his son-in-law Bruce Banner. The result was a complete failure. Not only did his daughter Betty and son-in-law run away, but due to the huge damage and student casualties caused, General Ross was destined to be demoted under this influence. If you can no longer come up with something to gain support from Congress, then his future career will end here. And at this time, Wong Kai came to Rayburn College invisibly. This is actually not a hidden sign in location. I feel a little disappointed. After all, this is also one of the venues for the Invincible Hulk battle. The famous scene, Blonsky in human form was kicked away by Hulk, happened here, and it was so unplayable. Night falls. Professor Samuel Stern, also known as Mr. Lan, is explaining his research results to Dr. Banner in the laboratory. The antidote to cure you is not safe, and even if the correct dose is injected, there is no certainty it will be a temporary suppression or a complete cure. And it might kill you outright. But I'm very curious. Whether I do it or not is entirely up to you. After Mr. Lan finished talking about the possible dangers, Dr. Banner thought for less than 3 seconds. I decided to take a gamble. Cured the disease that has tortured me for 5 years. Even though Hulk saved him countless times, Banner still thinks it's just a disease. A disease that has tortured me for 5 years. Bruce, this is too dangerous. My girlfriend Betty still wants to persuade her. But Banner is extremely determined. 5 years. 5 whole years. Do you know how I lived these 5 years? I can transform in a heartbeat. The last time I was in bed with you, I really. But Hulk, he definitely did it on purpose. Hulk is dead and Jesus can't keep him. I said so. Dr. Banner was furious. He has had enough of 5 years of living like a monk. He wants everything back on track. Seeing her boyfriend being so determined, Betty stopped trying to stop him. This is for the lifelong happiness of the two of them. Come to the laboratory. Banner was fixed on the operating table in the center and the injection needle was inserted. A device like a hemodialysis machine will draw out Banner's blood, mix it with the inhibitory antidote, and then inject it into the transformed Hulk, so that the antidote can work. Betty picked up the anti-bite stick and put it into Banner's mouth. Prevent him from biting off his tongue. Mr. Lan picked up the high-voltage electric shock device and looked excited. Come out, big guy. After speaking, Mr. Lan pressed the electric shock device hard on Banner's forehead. There was a tingling sound. The latter immediately became extremely painful and began to struggle violently. The high-voltage electric shock caused blood vessels throughout Banner's body to bulge. Green lines appear on the body. The bones in some parts of the body expand uncontrollably. There was a cracking sound of bones breaking, and the muscles expand rapidly like balloons. The pain is comparable to being cut into pieces by 1,000 cuts. Bruce, hold on. Betty climbed directly onto Banner, who was undergoing a painful transformation. Then he grabbed the stunned Mr. Land next to him by his collar. Inject the antidote quickly. Only then did Mr. Land react and press the button. The green blood in the infusion tube quickly turns into blue and is injected into the body. The transformed Hulk's green eyes instantly lost focus. He shook his head wildly to resist, but could only helplessly shout, "No," and began to transform back into Banner. The green skin quickly receded and the body began to shrink. Even though Banner was extremely sleepy, still burst out with extremely hearty laughter. "Hey, I think we can finish what we regretted last time tonight." But unfortunately, without waiting for Betty to answer, a large number of soldiers suddenly broke into the door. The leader is none other than Blonsky, who has gone crazy. "Get out of my way." Blonsky threw Betty away. He grabbed Banner's neck and roared, "Where is he? Let him come out and fight me." The heartbeat counter on Banner's wrist kept ringing, clearly exceeding the warning line, but Banner, who used to transform at this time, didn't react at all, which made Blonsky extremely annoyed. Fake. A gun butt knocked Banner unconscious. The soldiers immediately took him away. And Betty could only follow helplessly. "What a good thing you did." Blonsky watched Mr. Land grit his teeth. When the people were almost gone, he first killed the remaining female officer with a knife, then grabbed Mr. Land's collar with one hand and lifted him up directly. "You must have his blood when you study Hulk. Inject all of it into me." Then the painful roar sounded. Blonsky's elbows and heels grew sharp bone spurs. Even the back has an apex protruding from it. Blonsky transformed into a 3-meter-tall abomination. Mr. Land was knocked over with a slap, and the latter hit the instrument and injured his head. At this time, a ball of Hulk serum took the opportunity to drip in, and Mr. Land's head mutated, revealing a weird smile. And the hatred roared through the walls. "Run into the street and start killing." Ding! It has been detected that the host is in the hidden sign in location of the birthplace of hatred, and the sign in process has begun. Ding! It is detected that the host is in the hidden sign in location where the big boss is born, and the sign in process will begin. The countdown to check-in is 2 minutes and 59 seconds. The system sound sounded. Wong Kai, who came here with General Ross's motorcade, showed a satisfied smile, and finally asked him to find a hidden sign in location, and it was not a replacement sign. "If I kill the big boss now, is there any extra reward?" Wong Kai suddenly asked. Mr. Land, Professor Samuel Stern. He is also the later villain and boss. He has unlimited intelligence and mind control abilities that far exceed those of ordinary people. This caused his head to become extremely large, so he was called the Big Boss. In the comics, there was a plan to spread gamma rays all over the world. Turn all life into a Hulk-like Hulk. And it worked. But now he has done nothing. Wong Kai wants to know if there are additional check-in points to prevent such a disaster in advance. "Extra rewards are impossible. Host, please don't daydream." The unpretentious voice of the system echoed in my mind. Wong Kai's eyelids twitched and he didn't know what to say. Professor Stern, who wanted to escape here to carry out his evil plan, was killed with one knife. The future king of the Gamma world died at the place where the dream began. I waited another 2 minutes to complete the check-in. After getting 700 check-in points, we moved to the next check-in location. On the street, the ugly abomination is slaughtering the Hulk hunting party. I don't care at all that this is my former comrade in arms. The rifle bullets of the soldiers had no effect on it. All the warheads in contact were easily bounced away. So I immediately replaced it with a Javelin anti-tank missile. Aim at the target and pull the trigger. A dazzling flame burst out from behind the launch tube with a whooshing sound. Flying towards hatred with the strong hatred of the soldiers. But when he was about to hit the abomination, he was caught in his hand. Then he slapped himself on the forehead fiercely. Boom! The flames instantly surrounded half of Abomination's body. But it didn't cause him any harm. A vicious smile appeared on the ugly face. The soldiers watched with despair in their hearts. "Let me have a good beating." He casually lifted a car and threw it out like a toy, then flattened the soldier who had just fired an anti-tank missile at him. Hatred roared to the sky and continued to ravage the street. And all this was seen by Wong Kai, Nick Fury, and General Ross. "Where's Tony? Doesn't he love to be in the limelight?" Nick Fury asked Coulson. "He is still fighting terrorists on the other side of the world. There is no way he can come back." "Waterfa," What about Kai? I can't get through. Nick Fury was furious when he heard this. Why did everything fall apart at the critical moment? At this time, a figure quickly fell from the sky. When it fell on the ground, it made a deep hole. Then a huge amount of green palm stretched out from inside and let out a shocking roar. Hulk. Dr. Banner's dream came to an end in less than an hour. Hulk appears again. Hate the overwhelming excitement. Needless to say, the two of them ran towards each other with all their strength. The fists collided with each other in an instant, carrying hundreds of tons of force. Boom. Broken bones and flesh. The powerful force collided together, and even the air seemed to have no time to escape. It exploded instantly, shattering countless glass on the street. Then the fist wind roared hundreds of meters. Shot on the face of every viewer. It even made them feel a sting. Even the wind of fists can hurt people. These are two complete monsters. Countless excited crooked nuts ignore the danger. He raised his phone and started recording the fierce fight between the two. It finally appeared. Wong Kai stood invisible on the roof. Watching the two green-skinned monsters fighting each other with fists, their expressions were indifferent. Such a battle. He can finish it with one strike. Ding! It is detected that the host has arrived at the sign-in location, the place where the Hulk fights. The sign-in time is 5 minutes. If the stay time is less than 5 minutes, the sign-in will be considered failed. The countdown to check-in is 4 minutes and 59 seconds. The system prompt sounds as usual. Wong Kai continued to wait. The battle has just begun. Hulk was injected with a suppressing antidote, so he was unable to exert his full strength, but even so, he was able to fight back and forth with Abomination. The two of them punched each other and kicked each other, until the flesh and blood splashed out. You don't deserve such power at all. Hatred grinned and struck an uppercut. The Hulk was so dizzy that he took off on the spot. Then he crushed the concrete floor with his foot and hit Hulk hard like a discharged cannonball. The Hulk flew out with a loud bang and smashed several cars before stopping. At this time, the countdown is 3 minutes. Hulk stood up. Looking at the ugly Hatred, the teeth are almost broken. Punch the police car next to you. The terrifying force tore the police car in half. Hulk grabbed the car wreckage and ran towards the Abomination like an iron-fingered tiger. He flew forward and struck fiercely. There was just a loud noise and Abomination was embedded into the concrete floor. Then Hulk directly rode on Abomination and pointed at Abomination's big bald head and greeted him crazily. Bang bang bang. Hulk's set of extremely ferocious way pow punches can deform even pig iron. But the result was that the wreckage of the police car was smashed into pieces. The Hatred was still extremely ugly. Is this all you have? Hatred spat out the teeth in his mouth and smiled evilly. Pull out the big leg and aim it at Hulk's face, it's like a rabbit kicking an eagle. Bang! Hulk flew straight out like a cannonball. It actually hit the concrete street and floated on it. In the end, it rolled countless times and crashed through several walls before stopping in front of a 6-story apartment. The distance between the two is more than 200 meters. This shows how powerful this kick is. This will count down to 1 minute. Hatred ran towards Hulk with a ferocious smile on his face. Wong Kai also took out his mobile phone. Turn off airplane mode. As a result, Coulson's call came within 10 seconds. Kai, there's a big event. Coulson's extremely anxious voice came out, while Wong Kai was very calm. I've already seen it, but it's just a chicken and a dog's ears. Quote. Coulson was speechless for a moment. You have to look at the person before filling the cup, right? That's Hulk. The invulnerable Hulk. General Ross used various advanced Stark weapons to catch him for 5 years but failed to catch him. And Hatred looks like he is a ruthless person. Definitely not much weaker than Hulk. Kai, don't be careless. Wong Kai just smiled coldly and said, have you ever heard of the sword technique that falls from the sky with one move? Hang up the phone. Wong Kai switches to Metal Storm. Blue particle beams were ejected from under the feet and flew straight into the sky. Boom! The metal storm exceeded the speed of sound, and a shocking roar sounded in the sky. It immediately attracted the attention of countless people. Even the fighting Hulk and Abomination looked up into the sky. There seems to be a blue meteor in the deep dark night sky. It was speeding down towards them. This is none other than Wong Kai, driving the metal storm mecha to fly 400 to 500 meters in the air. Then he aimed at the abomination and rushed straight down. Switch hero template. The immortal demonic body activates instantly. The violence begins. Huge amounts of blue magic blades appear in hands. The blade cuts through the air. It makes an extremely loud sound. It's as if even the air has been cut open. Wong Kai held the magic blade tightly. In the blink of an eye, hatred is getting closer and closer. 50 meters, 40 meters, 30 meters, 20 meters, 10 meters. The expression of hatred and shock is already reflected in his eyes. Time seems to become extremely slow. Wong Kai exploded with all his strength and wielded the knife with both hands. Strike down the ugly hatred. The huge light blue sword energy appeared instantly and fell like a mountain. It encountered some obstacles in the abominable body, but it still penetrated unstoppably. Boom! The sword energy touched the ground and caused a shocking roar. A huge inverted triangular ravine was carved into the ground. Hatred's eyes were confused, the crazy look on his face disappeared, and he actually revealed a sense of clarity. With a soft squeaking sound, his body separated to both sides, and his consciousness gradually fell into the abyss. The 6-story small high-rise apartment behind him looks huge. But it is no different from a hollow cake, split into 2 parts from the roof to the basement. There is also a large gap as wide as one person in the middle. It has completely become a ruined building. The scene was extremely silent for a moment. The passerby who was photographed was so open that he was about to dislocate his jaw. Coulson was so shocked that he tore off his precious hair and beat it back. Nick Fury almost popped out his only intact eyeball. Shocking, powerful, terrifying. This is how everyone feels at this time. It was indeed the right thing not to let him test this move at the headquarters. Coulson muttered, "Speed is power." Wong Kai's sword was indeed extremely vicious. With his strength and such speed, even a brick can knock Abomination unconscious, let alone a move that can chop up the red rock peak like a vegetable. Bang! In front of the hateful corpse that was cut in half with a knife. Wong Kai walked out of the deep pit he made. This knife is too powerful. Even he can't buffer it. He was forcefully taken underground by inertia. With the protection of the immortal demon body, he was not injured, but he frowned when he looked at the 6-story apartment in front of him that was split open by his knife. Tisk, tisk, the 6th floor is too low, it would be better if it were higher. It's a pity that there is no building for him to experiment. Otherwise, he would also know how many floors he could split with one knife. In ancient times, there was a tradition of splitting armor, splitting bamboo tubes, and splitting bamboo slips to test the sharpness of swords, but in Wong Kai's case, it became splitting buildings. The check-in task has been completed. The villain has also been killed. Just as Wong Kai was about to leave, he suddenly felt a gust of wind whistling behind him, and he reacted extremely quickly to avoid it immediately. He found that the Hulk turned around and stared at him fiercely with his teeth gritted. It turns out that Hulk was so stunned by the hateful beating just now. As a result, hatred was split into 2 as soon as he woke up. Without an opponent to vent his anger, the Hulk becomes even angrier. So after seeing Wong Kai wearing strange armor again, he directly launched an attack. "You really don't know what fear is," Wong Kai said coldly. Raging, sprinting, and wind spirit emblem were activated at the same time. Huge amounts of the magic blade clenched in hand. As fast as thunder, the Hulk had no time to react. I saw an extremely cold blue light passing over Hulk's shoulder. Phew, like a sharp knife piercing the flesh. Then a squeaking sound passed by. The magic blade instantly brought out a large amount of green blood. Hulk was stunned for a moment before his expression changed drastically. He lay on the ground wailing in great pain, covering his right arm and letting out a miserable scream. "This is a lesson. I originally wanted to cut off your arm, but your bones are really hard." I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.